I've always been fascinated by that force that shapes human beings. Who am I and what am I here to give?
Speaking on stages all over the world was literally a dream of mine. 20 years ago, I wrote in a journal that someday I'd love to speak on stage with Tony Robbins and Richard Branson and help impact lives the way they do.
When I first met Dean, probably about 12 years ago, I just got to know his heart and his soul, and it's like, felt like my brother.
If you don't have a heart-centered reason on why the hell you want it, that's why everybody gives up on the 5-yard line.
Well, it's entrepreneurs like Dean that are helping make the world a better place.
I was looking at the list of people that you have helped. Bill Clinton, Princess Diana, Mikhail Gorbachev, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Quincy Jones.
What do all these people have in common with one another? They all were coached by Tony Robbins.
Dean Graziosi is a multimillionaire, New York Times best-selling author.
We have a living legend, Dean Graziosi.
We have a living legend when it comes to personal development.
Millions of people online.
You're talking about a man who's hundreds of millions of dollars in sales.
Just listening to Tony is inspiring.
It's not about motivation as much as it is allowing people to tap into what's already there, like a catalyst.
You want to change your results? This is where you do it.
Tony Robbins has been a good man. It's not just words, you know what I mean? There's action in there and there's structure in what he's saying.
I'm here because Dean and myself want to see you be able to have the same joy we have, to tap this power of self-education. It's what both of us have built our lives on over 60 years between us, for me 40 years.
It has become a movement.
What it's really about in the end is saying, I got a vision for my life and I'm not willing to settle for anything less.
Because the world is finally ready to join us on our quest to make self-education the new norm.
Well, hey, everybody. Thank you and welcome. It's Tony Robbins.
I'm Dean Graziosi. What's up?
Listen, we have 500,000 people from over 100 countries that are joining us right now, at least have registered. We'll see how many of you show up, but those that are watching right now, welcome. We're very excited and quite privileged, honestly, to be able to share with you this workshop today because we both have a privilege, and the privilege is we figured out, or I don't know if we can take credit for it, we stumbled across an industry that has allowed us to live our lives in a way that was incredibly fulfilling and continues to be. Last year I started by asking people a question. I'd like to ask you the same question. If you had to choose between a life where you made lots of money or you had a huge impact on people in this world, where you really impacted the quality of their life, which would you pick? My answer is, why not both? You know, most people pick a job and they find themselves in a position where in a short period of time, they're not really fulfilled by it. They do something to make money, but it isn't something necessarily that creates meaning for them. And there is an invisible force, I call it, that shapes our life. It sounds kind of corny, but you know, when I say invisible force, what I really mean is the things that affect you the most are things you don't notice. You know, electricity, you know, gravity, love, hate, human emotion is not something you see, but it affects your life so much. And the force I'm talking about is the power of self-education. We're going to start out here and share a little bit of our background briefly for you, but we're excited to get into the nuts and bolts and saying, what is the opportunity for you to enter a business that is growing geometrically? And we started in the infancy of this business. And, you know, I started out 43 years ago, and you started
23 years ago.
23 years ago. So between us, we have 66 years of experience to share with you in this short time, but we really want to deliver that for you. But let me just give you a sense of the background. I started out in a really tough environment, and so did Dean. He'll share his story as well. There were no role models. We had no money for food. In fact, today I'm privileged to be able to feed 100 million people every year through my partnership in Feeding America. I said I'm going to feed 1 billion people over 10 years. We're 5 years into it. We've fed 500 million people. I mean, I didn't have money to food. We couldn't eat at times. And so to have that kind of turnaround, to go from completely stressed, I had 4 different fathers, my parents are always fighting, and early as just a young boy, I just said, I don't want this for my future family. I've got to find a way to do things that make the quality of our life different, where we can have the income, yes, but also the joy and the happiness. And so I became obsessed like a student. I started reading books. I took a speed reading class when I was just in junior high school. And I said, I'm going to read a book a day. And of course, I didn't do that, but I read 700 books in human development over about 7 years, psychology, physiology, biology, anything that can improve life. And then I started going to seminars. I didn't know what a seminar was. And here's the story for 2 seconds. I'm in high school. I'm struggling. I work as a janitor, making $40 a week. And my wife, or my mom, I should say, said that she talked to this man's wife and he needed somebody to help him out by doing some moving. He was a man that had been unsuccessful. In fact, my father chimed in and said, he's a total loser, and now he's very successful. And I said, what does that mean? He goes, I don't know. He went to some seminar. And I said, what's a seminar? My dad said, I don't know. So I volunteered. No, I didn't volunteer. I got paid to go do this heavy-duty moving for the weekend to try and earn some money. And at the end of it, he said, you're a really hard worker. I want to hire you again. I said, well, I want some advice. I said, I want to know. I heard you're such a loser, my dad said. Only kids can say this.
At least you put a cushion on it.
Right? And I said, but now you're so successful. How come? And he said, your dad really said that? And then he finally said, well, it's kind of true. He goes, I was a bit of a loser. And he said, what turned me around was going to a seminar. I didn't know anything about self-education. I didn't know anything about what a seminar might be. And I said, what's a seminar? He goes, well, a man who's taken his whole life and he's become very successful, he started with nothing, shares with you the best of what he's learned. His goal is to help you compress decades into days. Like help you learn in a few days what took him decades to learn and save you so much pain and help you become more successful. And I said, how does he do it? He goes, well, he has this 3.5-hour seminar and you should come to it. And he told me all about it. And I said, how much is it? And he said, $35. And I remember going, oh my God, $35 for 3 hours? I said, I make $40 a week as a janitor. I said, can you get me in? And he said, yes.
For 30.
And I said, well, will you? And he said, no. And I said, why not? He goes, because you won't value it if you don't pay for it. I said, trust me, I'll value it. So the biggest decision in my life at that stage was, do I take a week's pay to go hear some guy talk for 3 hours? And thank God in the end, I thought to myself, I'm struggling so bad. If I don't get this information, how long will it take me to get it? So I went to this man's seminar. And here's what happened. It wasn't like there was some magic there. He just gave me insights I had never had before. Some of them I heard because I'd read so many books. But the most important piece of advice and an insight he gave me, I got to ask him personally. And here's the question, because it relates to everything we're going to share with you tonight. I asked him, I said, I have 4 fathers. We had times when there's no food. We had no food in Thanksgiving. Somebody came and fed my family. That's why I feed people today. And I said, how could that be? My dads are hardworking, they're good people. And Jim Rohn said to me something I'll never forget, and it's what this entire knowledge business is about. He said, Tony, we're all equal as humans, as souls, but we're not equal in the marketplace. I said, what does that mean? He said, well, you look at somebody working at McDonald's, they're making whatever it was in those days, I don't remember, it was $4 an hour, now it's $7.50, I think, or something of that nature. He said, Tony, goes, anyone can do that. You can learn to do that literally in a few hours. Today, at McDonald's, they have pictures. You don't even have to be able to speak English. They can just push buttons. So there's not a lot of added value. He said, in the marketplace, your value is your ability to bring something special to people, something that meets their needs. In order for you to do that, you've got to learn how to add more value. You've got to become more valuable. You've got to work harder on yourself than anything else. For things to change for you, you've got to change. For things to get better, you got to get better. And he said, if you see somebody who's a billionaire, instead of saying, aren't they lucky? He gave me an example in those days. It was this big hedge fund guy, be like Ray Dalio today or someone like that. And he said he made $4 billion last year. This person made $15,000. He goes, that sounds so unfair. But listen, most people put their money in the bank and they're getting 2%. He got 42% for his investors, which included nonprofit funds, things of that nature. He goes, he's worth $4 billion because he made $40 billion for everybody. Right? He said, you have to understand your fathers are good people, but they didn't figure out how to get away from generalized knowledge to specialized knowledge. That's what this is about. If you go to the university today, you can get a phenomenal education. Unfortunately, it costs a lot. In fact, if you're a millennial, you paid 8 times more. It's grown 8 times faster than incomes. And, we have $1.5 trillion worth of debt for young people today. It's insane. And here's the worst part. Dean knows this. 73% of the people who major in an area never work in the area they spent all this money for. 30, 40, 50, 100, $200,000 for. And of the 22% that do, that group of people, the 27% that do, that group of people say 52% say they don't enjoy what they have. And there are 111 universities right now that have over $1 billion endowment. They're like hedge funds with money attached. So there's nothing wrong with college. It's a great thing. But people come up and can't get a job because they don't have specialized knowledge you can act on, knowledge that can change your life immediately. So I took that education, I became obsessed, I started studying everybody I could. I started loading myself with audio tapes back in those days. I had cassettes, that's all I am. There was no internet, I was going to the library, I was reading every book. And then I launched my first seminar. And I tell you this because this is where some of you may be tonight. I didn't know what the heck to do. I just had this knowledge. I wanted to share it. I wanted to help people. So it was expensive in those days. There wasn't, an ability to send free email. I used the old snail mail. I'm old, right? I had to go rent a giant hotel. I couldn't do it on Skype or, on some piece of that nature. So I had to spend the money, run the ads. And I tried to do a free seminar. And I rented a room for 500 people. And I spent $10,000, which would be like $30,000 today, which is all the money I had. And 7 people showed up. It's a true story. And they were spread out all around the room. And I was like, could you all come down to the room here? And that's how I started. Now today, I did 102 cities last year in 15 countries. My average seminar is 10 to 15,000 people. And I have the privilege of, I've coached all 5 living presidents and presidents before that as well. I've worked with some of the greatest athletes in the world, from the Andre Agassi's to the Conor McGregors and Serena Williams. So all this starts someplace. And what we want to do tonight is show you where you can start and how you can grow it, as little or as much. Something you do part-time or something you do full-time, something you change the quality of your life by letting you take something you know or something someone else you respect knows. That's what Jim Rohn was for me. And learn how to bring that to people. And we built a system to do it. And we've done it. 1 year ago, we did this, and we kind of broke the internet then with 200,000 plus people. Now we got 500,000. We have 24,000 people in our community all over the world in 150 countries in 4,300 different niches. We're here to serve you tonight. And all we're going to ask you to do is put down your phone, unless you're watching us on that, turn off your texts, and focus with us, because we've got enough life experience to take you on a journey that could change your whole life. And we're excited to serve you.
Yeah. Awesome. Good to see you. I was mesmerized. I was just sitting here watching. Hey, it's so good to have you here with us tonight and joining us. I know there's a million things you could do, so we're gonna over deliver in a massive way, because at the end of the day, if you're watching, there's a million. You could be binging out on Netflix. You want another level of life. You want a next level of success. And what I bet, if you're here, you want to do something more meaningful. I mean, we're gonna spend the next 5 years doing something. You're gonna spend the next year's 5 years overcoming obstacles, getting past the naysayers, having partners let you down, the marketing didn't work, your spouse not believing you, people think you're nuts. That's gonna happen anyway. But how cool would it be to be able to do that in an industry where you know it's making an impact, where there's meaning, and the byproduct could be some of the greatest success you've ever had in your life. So if you're here, I want to share my story a little bit and then get right to it. But I just want to share one thing really quick to make sure you're at the right place at the right time. Who this is for and who this isn't for. If you're looking for a magical money machine, get rich without doing anything. If you're looking for a business in a box, or if you're looking for someone else to do the work for you, this isn't the place. If you know anything about Tony and I, that's not what this is. But if you're a professional or somebody committed to transitioning to something more meaningful, if you want to have a side hustle that actually has purpose and success attached to it, or maybe you have a full-time business and you know it's time to scale your impact, scale your success, scale your business to the top and grow it, who better than us? And lastly, if you're someone committed to learning from 2 people who've already been there, right? Not through your own trial and error, but people who have already been there. If that's you, let us know in the comments. I know we got them scrolling over here. Say, I'm committed, or I'm in, or I'm doing this. Because listen, at the end of the day, a lot of people dabble. Everybody wants more. They want to make more money, go to another level, have more freedom, be able to post their new car on Instagram. People want that. But in a lot of times they dabble. This isn't about dabbling. No. We're pulling back the curtain tonight on 60 plus years experience to show you how to take a skill, a passion, a hobby, an expertise. In fact, how to take an experience or even a mess that you went through and how to turn that into a message that allows other people to go faster. Listen, in life, there's 3 ways I believe to get ahead. If you want to make more money, go to another level, create more success in your life, have more control, have abundance, there's only 3 ways. You go back to school and get more general knowledge. And as Napoleon Hill said in 1937, as much general knowledge as you get, it's never going to lead to wealth.
That's Google today, right?
Yeah,
you get anything you want in general knowledge in traditional education, just Google it.
Yeah.
But if you get the specialized knowledge, you can have impact, you can be more value to people, and you can earn more, enjoy more, have the meaning, and develop a deeper level of impact in every way you think of.
Yeah, my team gave me a saying going around the internet. It says, by the time, it says, poor college kids of today, by the time the ink dries on your diploma, what you learned is already outdated. So that's one way, is go back, get more general knowledge. The second way is learning through your own trial and error. And this is what's creating this perfect storm and why we're here and why Tony and I took the last 2 years to create this process, this gold standard process for you to get in, because the second way, trial and error, doesn't work anymore because the world is growing so exponentially fast. By the time you learn the 2.0 version of something, the world's on 5.0. Yeah. So what is the world doing? If school system's letting them down with general knowledge, if trial and error isn't working, what the world is doing is turning towards professional doers, people who have already done it, who will share the self-education industry. People are saying, I don't want to learn from the professional teacher in the classroom. I want to learn from someone who's already done it. And what we've shown is that's you. You have a mess that can turn into a message. You have an experience, a skill, something you've done. Our friend Russell Brunson and Jenna Kutcher will be here later. Last year, Russell said, if you're one chapter ahead in today's world, people don't want to read the chapter. They just want you to share it with them, right? So that's where we're at today. So even if you think you don't have a skill, even if you think you're an introvert and this might not be for you, what I'm going to tell you is stick around, because when you see the people's lives that are changing, when you see we have it's just a small portion of people's lives all around the world.
We're not going to go through everyone.
We're not going to go through everyone. Yeah, don't panic. And let me just tell you what we're going to share tonight, so you know. If you got your pen and paper, write this down. What is the knowledge industry? Why now and why you? That's the first bucket. Second bucket, how do I confidently identify what is the skill, the experience, or the mess you had that could be your message? And then the third bucket is simply going to be, how do you take that message, that skill, and turn it into next level success, next level impact? So at the end of your life, right, at the end of your life, like Tony said in the beginning, when you say, do you want to make impact or next level success and revenue? You don't have to decide. We get to do something meaningful and you're going to see why this is the perfect storm to make this happen. Before we get into that, I want to tell you why. Yeah, I want to tell you why the knowledge industry is so important to me. And maybe some of you could feel this way. It doesn't matter if you went to college or not. I didn't. But if I didn't find self-education, I'm pretty sure I'd be left behind. I went to school and I struggled, and I had envy of other people getting ahead. I remember my friends going off to college, and whether you went to college or not, most people don't use their degree. But I remember thinking, how the hell am I going to do more? And I was lucky enough to find a couple older people in my town, and they gave me so much wisdom. And it was so counterintuitive to what my parents taught me, right? So I started doing okay and working really hard, and I got a collision shop and an auto sales, and I was selling cars in my teens, and I started making money, and I rolled that into apartments and houses, and I started going. But something really changed my life when I was 25 years old. I saw this guy, and how cool is it we get to be dear friends at this phase of our lives. I saw this guy, and everything he said just made sense. So I pulled out a credit card. I spent a couple $100 back then. I bought everything you had. I had never read a book cover to cover. I had never listened to an audio tape. And when I told my father, and if you're watching, Dad, you probably remember this, I told my father I paid for information, and he's like, get your money back. You just got screwed, right? And I got this information, and when I learned that knowledge course-corrected my life, 1,000 pounds fell off my shoulders. You gotta remember, every day at this time, I was working in a collision shop. I was working on cars every day. Painting had fumes and, give you the headache, and nails dirty. It changed my life, this knowledge, so much that within 2 years, I decided I wanted to be in the knowledge industry. I said, how cool is it? Tony changed my life. I gave him money. I want in, right? But this was before, like Tony said, this is before the internet. This is before iTunes and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So the only thing I needed to do is figure out how to create a course. And then I did an infomercial because there wasn't a million other ways to get my message out. And it's so funny. Russell asked me, and I forgot I had this. I want to show you guys something. I was working in a collision shop and on cars every day. And at night, I created my first course. Look at that. A cassette. Some of you might not even, not a cassette, a VHS. You might not even know what this is. And I wrote all these books on how people could get in the car business. Talk about, people say, I don't know, a niche will work. I taught people how to flip cars and make money like I did. Now, here's a part you got to realize. You know what I was intimidated by? This guy was already doing it for 20 years. He impacted millions of lives. I never impacted one person's life. I didn't go to college. I used credit cards to fund this because it was outside the norm. I had never been on camera. I was scared to death. But I helped one person, and I remember when that first sale come in, and I helped 10, and I helped 50, and I failed in between. And that's why self-education is so important, especially at this phase of our life. Especially Tony. I'm the busiest guy I know unless I'm with him. The last thing he needs to do is something new. This is about showing you that we made it happen when it was like horse and buggy and smoke signals. The world has changed. The shift of regular education isn't working, trial and error isn't working. I want self-education combined with our access through social media and the internet. This is the perfect time for you to be in this industry. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight and show you that this isn't for other people. This is for you. In fact,
it's an itch to just point out to you. This is not like you could have gotten we were. It was really tough going. Like, infomercials are the worst way to try to do this. You have to spend a fortune to send out a message to 1 million people and hope that you can find them. Today, if you want to find a niche, you want to help moms who are single moms that like yoga and eat granola, you can find that person precisely and just pay to reach that person. That didn't exist in our time. And yet we found a way to succeed by adding so much value to people's lives, by always doing more for people than they ever expected. And that's what we're going to show you how to do. But we're going to show you the shortcuts of how to do that and also how to do the marketing. We built an actual system.
Yeah, here's the cool part. So last year, Tony said we went live. Over a couple 100,000 people showed up. I think we're going to have more this year. Oh my God, they're holding up numbers. This is off the chart. This is amazing. And this is the deal. The more people that are a part of this, the better it is for all of us. But last year, over 24,000 people not only watched us, but decided to get more information and work with us and use our KBB method. They're in 150 countries. And here's the cool part. They started calling themselves knowledge brokers. And I love that. And we ended up giving it a definition. A knowledge broker is someone who shares their knowledge or someone else's with those who want and need it, resulting in massive impact and next level success for themselves. And that's how cool this has come. It's like people are saying, I'm a knowledge broker. I shared this mess I went through. In fact, I want to show you, let's get to this. I want to show you a couple of people. Can you pull up that screen and show Jamie?
That's great.
So this is the cool part, because so many new things came in the last year. Jamie had a mess that she turned into a message. She became the reporter of other people's knowledge. You could pull that down. And let me just tell you what she did. Her second-born son, a month in, had really severe eczema. And I understand that because my son had it and I worked. And she went to the doctor. They wanted to put him on steroids.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And then she had all these different opinions and she said, the hell with it. Jamie, if you're watching, great job. She went out and studied the absolute best to cure and heal her son naturally. That was her mess.
And she did it successfully.
Now she did her first mastermind. She's on her second and third being planned. She did it virtual. And you know what she's doing? She took her mess and now she's teaching parents with kids with eczema how to heal it naturally. 20 years ago, people have said, well, what's her degree? Where did she go to school?
Yeah.
How do I know that? That's not where the world is right now. Your mess is someone else's delivery of, they don't have to go through the mess. Think of it. That's the arc. You can shorten it. But then on the other side, you take somebody, and you can pull this up, somebody like Randall Hurt. Randall, what a cool dude. I read his whole profile. Randall was in management for 27 years and tried a bunch of businesses, wanted to do his own thing.
Failed at 2 of them, right?
Yeah, failed at 2 businesses, was trying different things. And then he watched us a year ago, decided to get more info, got the KBB method. And what he did is, and this is the part I want you to talk about, think about. He was in management. He goes, wow, I do have educated. I've been doing this for 27 years, and plus he ran his church, high-level management in his church. Yeah. What he decided to do is help managers, but not just managers. He wanted to help mid-level managers grow. And then he chunked that down. He goes, no, what my unique ability is I help solve problems for mid-level management. He did 4 workshops. He's got 2 more planned right now.
By the way, he did his first 2 workshops for free because he wasn't sure that people would really go for it. And he got a smaller number than when he charged, but he got it under his belt, so he's became more confident. Now he's in the business of doing it, right?
Yeah, and the next thing he's doing, a whole towing company, he's doing a training for them and getting paid to do it. And And then this one, I like this one, and this is just a couple out of the gate before we get into those 3 topics, right? Christopher, he took it to a whole nother level. Christopher's mom has an autoimmune disease, and he just obsessed on it. I love this story. He obsessed on helping his mom get better. And naturally, he helped stop the progression of this autoimmune disease. And through being the reporter and learning so much information, he realized he had so much to share with the world. He went all in. This is like next level stuff. He did some paid media. He did some Facebook ads, same stuff we're going to share with you tonight. And he had 7,000. Listen to that number. 7,000 people show up.
I had 7.
Yeah. You blew us out of the water, brother. I had 5 at my first one. And he had 7,000 people at his first time. And by the way, his mom's, we texted him today, his mom's disease is no longer progressing, which is absolutely amazing. And here's the thing. what we love about masterminds, and just to kind of give you a range, I've seen masterminds in communities, and we're going to talk about that. And I'm using the word mastermind. If you don't know what that means, this is what we're going to, in the first section, we're going to demystify that. Mastermind's not what you think. It's a community, it's a group, it's a training, it's a workshop, it's an online Zoom call. What I love about it is I've seen people charge $49 a month, $500 for a weekend. You charge $100,000 for platinum. I have a $25,000 2-day event, a $15,000 1-day event. You get the opportunity.
$7 mastermind.
I have a $7 mastermind that is just a Facebook group, and it's an amazing group of people. So I've seen them from $7 to $100,000 a year, and the impact you make is so much stronger because it's what the world wants. There's 3 things I believe that create all success. So if you've ever gone to an event and you're like, I'm changing my life, but it didn't happen. If you read a book, got a course, mentored by somebody, got excited, saw something and it fell off, I think we can agree that these three things are needed. 1, you need the right mindset. I mean, dude, you changed my mindset 25 years ago and I was unstoppable. And we need that burn the boats, get in my swimming lane, unstoppable mindset.
And absolute clarity. What you're going to do, how you're going to do it, put the plan together. That's part of the mindset. It's not just being positive. Anybody can do that. It's getting clear. And that's what we're best at.
If you have the right mindset and you're ready to go, right, the next thing I think we can all agree on, you need the tactics and the tools and the strategies from someone who's actually done it, right? Have you ever in your life been fired up, somebody gave you the wrong blueprint, right? So you need the blueprint from somebody who's already done it in today's world because learning on your own just takes too long. The third part is the most important. You could get fired up, I'm unstoppable, Tony put you in state, you get the tactics, but the last part most people fall through on is implementation and massive action. Yeah. When you combine mindset with the right tools and tactics from someone who's done it and massive action, that's when you move the needle. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And now let's get to the first section.
I want to plant a quick seed about that. One of the things that we both talked about is, the average person buys a book, and if you read the statistics, less than 10% read past the first chapter. People buy courses all the time, and then they barely listen to them and go to them. My success has been getting people to actually do the whole program and change their lives, the implementation phase. And here's what we've really done. I believe complexity is the enemy of execution. You and I both know knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power.
Right.
Execution is real power, right? Execution beats knowledge every day of the week, right? It trumps it. So if you and I want to change, we got to do that. So what we've done is chunk this in such simple steps where literally in 3 or 4 days of total immersion or over a period of a few weeks of once a week, you can not only learn something, be inspired, get the mindset, learn the skill, but then use the software and instantly start to apply and build the real business right here in front of your eyes. And most people's brains go 1, 2, 3, many, right? They get overwhelmed. So we just keep it into the simple steps, and you can't imagine a little baby steps day after day. What it builds eventually can be an empire, or certainly an empire of what you value, meaning a sense of meaning and impact in your life and economics to be able to match so you enjoy your time.
Let's get to the first section, and that is, what is the knowledge industry? I know we've talked about it, but let's make it really crystal clear. Why now, why you? So we know the knowledge industry, which could be called self-education, upskilling, specialized knowledge. There's a million terms that people are using in today's world. It is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. Forbes predicts it to be $300 and something billion to triple over the next 5 years. So it's a strong industry because of that. School's not working, my own thing's not working, I'm going over here. And what makes up this massive industry? That's what I'm gonna break down really quick. First is books. Books are amazing. I love books. I love reading books.
My life.
Until I didn't read because of dyslexia, it was hard for me to read. Once books on audio were a part of my life, one a week. I still do one every 10 days, right?
But reading a book and benefiting one is different than writing one.
Right. So what I want to share is, if you look at this industry as a whole, books are amazing. They're filled with treasures. But it's not the fastest way to implementation. It's not the fastest way to impact lives because, listen, I'm just going to be straightforward. Writing a book is a pain in the butt.
I hadn't written a book in 20 years, and I wrote Money Master the Game and then Unshakable after that. I'm working on another one now, simply because I could produce the result faster and quicker with people immediately. And by the way, a lot of people you see these advertisements, learn to write a book, book, publish a book. But here's the challenge. Not only does it take a long time, but the average person who does that,
it's right there.
You got the statistics.
250 books.
That's how many the average person sells.
Under $500 in income.
But if you build a community and then you write a book if you want to, or you do an audio program that you convert to a book. Wow, you can do that literally within a few weeks or a few months versus a few years, and you can expand what you're doing. Plus, unfortunately, I still do books because they're so valuable, but most people don't read. They don't commit to reading. They want bite-sized things, which you can deliver in the formats we're showing it.
Yeah, I mean, people say, do I read the whole book or do I spend a 4-hour Zoom call? I'll take the Zoom call, right? So again, we're breaking down the industry. Books have changed my life. We're multiple New York Times best-selling authors. Can't knock books other than the fact that it's just shifted. It's so much work, and nobody's selling books anymore. That's why Borders is out of business, and I don't know how long Barnes & Noble can go. The second part, books, and then there's courses. Courses, how could we, if I didn't get Tony's course, my life would never be the same. I mean, my life wouldn't be where it is if I didn't get his course. I've offered courses now for over 20 years. Courses are another one, absolutely amazing, and I suggest someday you build one, but the world has changed. People don't want you to get an account, film 4 videos, and call it a course. Have you ever bought one of those and you feel frustrated, like you're calling this a course? I mean, listen, what we're doing
like
in this building,
same thing. It's a cheap little thing.
We have 72 employees in this room. What we've built and designed, we're in over $1 million, but we created something magnificent that's online. So my whole point is courses are incredible, but it's not the fastest way to impact, not the fastest way to success, not the fastest way to implement. So courses are a part of that, but that's not what we're going to talk about tonight. Coaches, consulting. I love what you shared about coaches.
Yes.
I remember my physical trainer. I had probably 7 years ago. He worked at Gold's Gym and he quit and he said, oh my God, I was doing my own thing. He was making $150 at a time. And then all of a sudden, by the time he got to me, he's like, this is BS, man. He's like, I'm traveling all over the valley. I get $150.
People cancel the meeting and I don't get paid.
Yeah, right. So he went and turned into a coach, but he was still in the time and effort community.
You know, many of you have heard of financial traders. They think of somebody at home doing that. But a financial trader is anybody who trades money for time. It's a terrible trade. And you got to do it initially. But what you want to do is build scale where you can do lots of things at one time. It's like when Jim Rohn said to me, he said, is it possible for someone to make twice as much money in the same amount of time? I said, yeah, I think so. He goes, is it possible for someone to make 10 times as much money in the same time? I said, I think so. He said, 100 times, 1,000 times. And then he showed me examples and he goes, but all these people figured out how to create leverage. They all figured out how to add more value even while they're sleeping. But I want you to understand this idea of coaching is beautiful, but what's even more powerful is masterminds.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And when we say masterminds, I want you to not get overwhelmed by that word, because a mastermind could be a community. It could be a group. A mastermind, what Napoleon Hill said is that if you get two people together, it creates like a third brain,
mind, yes.
a third mind. And that's it. It's the collaboration of everybody in the room getting smarter, or everybody on the Zoom call, or everybody on Skype. So when we say mastermind, that's this. That's a monthly live online training. It's a workshop at the local hotel. It's the accumulation of all of it. Workshops, masterminds, groups. And the cool part about it is watching this come to life. Let's just talk about Lisa. Can you pull this up?
Yeah, that's great.
Lisa Hyde. Let me tell you, Lisa, she worked in the entertainment industry. She told the story. She's probably watching right now. She told the story that she was in one of the agencies in California, and she knew CAA. She knew you were coming in. She's like, I want to see Tony, and then you came in, and she hid in her office. She said he was just so big, I was scared. I hid in the office. But she was a great businesswoman for a long time, but she knew there was more. She wanted to coach, didn't know what to do. She watched us last year. She got involved with the KBB method, used more of our information that we're going to share with you. And now she's on her third mastermind. This is her full-time thing, and she runs high-level masterminds, and it's a community. She creates in her eyes, it's all women. It's all women in business who want to go to the next level. And I know
some haven't even started a business. She's helping them show how to do it, like step at a time. And some are in business, and she's helping them solve those problems. And she had these skills, but she didn't realize, hey, I could make this my life, and it's so much more fulfilling. I love empowering women, and now I can earn more than I was doing anything else, doing what I love. I mean, that's what this game is all about. That's what the knowledge business is.
Yeah, and Lisa's on the high end. Again, it's not a magic money machine. This is following a process, putting in the work, impacting lives. Remember what Tony said, impact and success. How great to have both. And that's what Lisa's doing. She was raised by a single mom, and she's dying to help women, and she's doing it. I'm proud of her. The next part is workshops, right? So a workshop could be an online workshop. Again, really just, to me, they're all kind of the same. It's just whatever you want to name it. But if you hear workshop...
We don't mean a workship where you got to go rent a room. You could do that.
Yeah.
But we're talking about today, you can do all this online on Zoom with people. I mean, it's just amazing. You can get clients from literally 100 countries. Well, you're all here from all over the world. More than
think about
countries,
that.
Right?
Yeah.
You're all doing it right now with us. We're having a workshop. But it's different than trying to rent the room, go to the place. You can do that. We can show you how to do that as well. But this is the place to start.
there's somebody starting on day one. Just think about that. Whether that's an experience, whether that's a skill, whether that's something you studied, you have skills and somebody's starting on day one and you can help them go faster. You can help them start off where you left off. We just got to show you, which we'll in the next section, how to build the confidence to do it with zero questions. And the last part is masterminds and groups. And I love this. Could you pull this one up really quick? Navina. What I love about Navina is she was a dance teacher and then she volunteered in
in Serbia, right?
In Serbia. She volunteered in a shelter for kids in a nursery.
Yeah.
And while she was there for 5 years, you could pull this down, Mike, for 5 years while she was volunteering, and this is reading her whole story, she recognized that especially special needs children.
And that's her specialty.
That's her specialty. And she realized that the teachers and the parents and the kids were all stressed because they were teaching the kids one way and they were teaching the parents one way and they were teaching the teachers another way. And she just saw this magic congruency that she said, no, I need to shake the parents and say you could reduce stress by doing this. I want to shake the teachers and have them do this. And then we can teach the kids and make this congruent circle. She took that passion. She did her first event and over 100 teachers and staff showed up and parents to her event, and this is what she's doing full time now.
Think about this. Before, she's not a psychologist, she's not a psychiatrist, and yet she's teaching child development and psychology because she has practical knowledge about a specific group of people, children that have disabilities, and she learned it by being a volunteer over 5 years in Serbia, and she knows the most stressful environment, she knows real solutions, and people are willing to listen to her because she has some life experience. That's what you got to know that's different today. When I started coaching, there was no coaching. No one called it coaching. I didn't want to be a motivator.
I remember when you were attacked by therapists because
I was attacked by therapists all the time in those days. You're not qualified. Now that doesn't happen. I've trained tens of thousands of therapists. My partner's trained 100,000 therapists in my technology. We get certified in my technology with therapists today. But they all call themselves coaches now, most of them, right? Coaching is the direction to go, but masterminding with coaching is a different piece. Now instead of just one-on-one, you have the exponential. And you're going to learn more. In masterminds, it's not a one-way street. Like when I'm coaching some of the greatest leaders in the world, I don't have the delusion that I'm just here to coach them. I'm not an idiot. I'm learning. And as the years have gone by, as I've taught them and learned from them, I've accumulated so much knowledge and skill. Now I can coach anybody on the earth and have an impact. That's what's going to happen with your masterminds. You're going to learn from your own people, from the conversations, the pieces that go there. And it also makes it so much more fun and meaningful and interesting. And by the way, if you want to know what makes people happy, people stop me all the time. They go, you've worked with, how many tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people. I've had 4 million people in my life seminars. I've had over 1 billion people involved in the programs. I said, the number one thing you need to be happy is progress. Progress equals happiness. If you're not even to your goal yet, but you get started and you start moving forward, you start to lose a little weight, you start to change your relationship, you start to build a business, you're going to have a level of excitement. See, when you achieve everything you want, you feel good for how long? Right. A few minutes, a few weeks, a few months, a few years, probably not a few years, because we're supposed to keep growing. And when we grow, we have something to give.
Right. And at the end of your life, get to say, I did something meaningful, right?
Well, not even wait till the end of your life.
Yeah, exactly. At least looking back, right?
That's right.
And let me just ask, we just talked about workshops, communities, groups. What would you do? Type it in and Jeremy, you can let me know. Type it in the comments. Would you do an online half-a-day Zoom community call? Would you do a workshop? Would you love to have people at your house? Would you love to have people at your business? If you're a professional looking to transition, if you're doing a side business or you're already in business, would you have them come to their office? Let us know below because we look at all these. I know the comments are probably coming in like crazy, but we get to look at them later. So let us know. All right, let's get to the second topic. Yep. The second topic is, I loved how you called it today, you simplified it. 3 ways to play, right? But it really is.
This is how you play. It's how you get to enjoy it.
How do you identify what that skill is? Because if I was you and I'd be watching this, like Tony and Dean are on fire, I could tell they love it, but it's Tony Robbins and it's Dean Graziosi. I got to put that together. That sounded really good. But you might be saying, you guys are experts. How do I get in this game? How do I do it? And that's why I want to break this down, and 3 ways to play is great. And the first one is basically being the expert, right? What does that mean? An expert could mean that you have, as Russell said, a chapter, a year, 5 years, 10 years in a certain industry.
Yeah.
And any
an
industry,
insight, a set of skills, a strategy, anything that can make you more effective in that area that someone else in your same seat or similar seat could benefit from. That's where the value is. That's where the added value is that you get paid for. And you might say, I don't know how to organize it, I don't know how to structure it. Don't worry about that. We're going to show you exactly how to do that based on 66 years of experience in putting on the best programs in the world. How to do a mastermind is even easier will show you that. But if you start out as an expert, we'll give them an example.
Yeah, so look at Dior. If you could pull that up really quick. Dior has an incredible story. I had the chance to meet her. Actually, she came over to my house. We did this great interview. Long story short, she grew up in Brazil with nothing. She ended up having to leave Brazil because of some terrible things that happened in her life. She went to London, learned English, came to America. Long story short, she landed a great job, and she was in PR and marketing for a great firm for 18 years. Dominated, did great, rise up through the ranks, but then she wanted to have a baby. And she said she didn't want to be in corporate America. She had a baby. She quit the job, and her son was 3 years old. And she said at 3 years old, she's like, I love being a mama, but I'm a boss babe or whatever she called herself. She's like, I need to accomplish. I need to go back into the world and
but she
deliver
didn't want to leave
value.
her child in the
But
mix,
she
so-
said, but I don't want to go back to corporate America.
Exactly.
I don't want to go to corporate America again. I don't want a 9 to 5. I'm going to raise my son, not somebody else, but I still want to impact. I still want to bring in income. Perfect timing. She watched Tony and I last year. She got.
By the way, she didn't think she had an expertise when she got the program.
Yeah,
right?
she didn't.
She didn't realize I got 18 years in this area where I could really help other people. That's what happens for people.
Yeah, and well,
They
the
don't
other thing
realize.
too is she bought courses in the past, multiple courses, and she never finished one.
That's right.
She didn't think she was an expert. She didn't think she had a niche, and that's probably a lot of you. And the reason most people don't finish is because of those three things.
That's right.
It was missing either the mindset, the right tactics, or the implementation. So Dior, I got to sit down with her. So here's what she did. She wanted to combine a couple things. She said, I've been in PR and marketing forever. I am an expert. We showed her how to unlock her confidence. We'll talk more about that later. That's in the next section. She unlocked her confidence, and now she's done 6 high-end masterminds like Lisa, but she goes back to Brazil, and she's given back to her home country by helping business owners in Brazil have better marketing and PR strategies. She's already done 6, and she's got 4 more scheduled. She's going down.
And what's so cool, she's doing them here, and she's doing them there, and she wants to do some live there. So each quarter she goes back to her home country and helps people
it gives
there.
her a reason to go back to her home
But
country.
she's with her son every single day, right? Doing her business. I mean, it's the absolute ideal to be able to live life on your terms.
Yeah, and again, when we say expert, I think a lot of people think initials after your name have been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're in something for 5 years, you had failures, you had successes, you learned so much. Right now, and we're all connected, there are so many people starting on day one. Picture them at the edge of day one going, do I go back to school? Do I try to figure this on my own? No, somebody's already been there. Hey, who's already done this specific niche in art, in hair, in cosmetology, in accounting, in sales, in e-commerce? And that's where the world is going. And I would bet to say you have unconscious competence that's waiting to be explored and shown to the world. And when you understand how to identify the people that want it, which we'll talk about in the next section, you'll see why you are more of an expert than you think. But then this is the second one, and we didn't talk about this one last year, Tony. Russell mentioned it quick, but over the last year, and again, this is crazy. These are like 1,100 wins that have come in, and they just printed. So I didn't even grab all of them. My hands aren't big enough.
Our community is made up of 24,000 people in 150 countries, and there are 4,300 different niches. We get 100,000 plus, 120,000 messages a month from everybody sharing back and forth with the successes of what they're doing and questions and how to make it to go to the next level. It's a dynamic experience.
And the one that came out in the last year that was bigger than I thought is turn your mess into a message. So think about this. Think about a bad experience that happened in your life. That when it happened, and we've both been through them, we've all been through them, you're like, I don't know if I can get through this. And through this trial and error, you figured out a way to come stronger. Maybe you did research, you got a counselor, you went to coaching. Whatever you did, you came out on the other side. How many people are starting day one with that mess and are looking around for help? And you have the opportunity to allow them to jump over a lot of that pain, right? Think about this. This is Kristen Travis. I had the chance to meet Kristen too. We have so many students, and my team just keeps flying them in, and I love me. But Kristen went through a mess. She was married for 10 years, and unfortunately, she went through a divorce, and it started getting real ugly. And it got
ugly for the kids,
and
too.
ugly for the kids too. And she recognized that, and my heart goes out to her because she saw it, and she said enough one day, and she built a framework around putting the kids first on how to make her divorce nice, even though things weren't perfect. She needed to make a divorce nice. She needed to co-parent kindly. It's actually, she calls it divorcing nicely and co-parenting kindly. Yeah. And here's what she said to me. She goes, Dean, I knew I was supposed to be a coach and a mentor my whole life. And she said, I just didn't think I was an expert. She goes, I decided to get the KBB method and work with you and Tony, but I was like, I'm not really an expert. And she goes, it just hit her. I am an expert because I was going through something messy and I fixed it. Now her full-time thing is she owns a coaching company and a training company, and all she does is train adults going through a divorce on how to do it kindly and how not to mess up your kids.
You know what's beautiful about that? You save families, because even if they separate, it's still a family, right? It's still the same parents, and there's a love there, and there's a joy there, and the kids grow up in a different environment. So she not only has a beautiful business, but she has a life that's so meaningful. I get teary-eyed thinking about it, because this is what keeps me going. I've been doing this for 43 years. It's the chance to see that somehow something you've learned, some pain you've been through, can help other people. Every time I've gone through issues in my life, and I've been through so many, I've done, all the business I've had businesses that were on the edge of bankruptcy. I turned them around. I learned what to do. Marriage situations, children as they're growing up challenged. I can't even tell you so many things, just like anybody. But the thing that's kept me going throughout my life is when a really rough situation happens, my first response in my head is, my first response is stress, but my second response is, I'm not the only person who has this problem. If I can solve this problem, I know I can help millions of other people do the same. And I want, if you can solve any problem, or if you've already done it, you can help dozens or hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people as well, especially in a world where we have the ability to scale things so easily, so cheaply, because of social media and because of the internet. It's a different world, and you have a chance to have that kind of impact. Congratulations to Kristen. I love what she's doing, not only for economics, but I love what she's doing that's saving families.
Yeah, I do. I love it. And then the last one is the reporter. So you got the expert, mess to message. The last one is reporter. I mean, that's what Tony, he mentioned it before. I don't have to go in detail. He wrote Money Master the Game, one of the best financial books ever. Tony's great with finances, but he's not the financial expert. He went and interviewed the top experts. And we have so many people that just obsess and geek out on other people's expertise. They learn it intimately, and then they become the expert. And guess what happens when you share it? You end up becoming the expert the more you share it.
Exactly.
So think about this. Pull this up really quick. I want to share about Carl.
Carl's a great example.
I want to share this. Carl was in a band for 30 years, like a really successful band. They toured with Metallica. What's up, Carl, if you're there? The band kind of split up. It ended. Carl realized he had to go out and get a job. He got corporate America job. Now imagine a guy 30 years on the road. He said he commuted an hour and a half.
I mean, they opened for, who they opened for?
Metallica.
Yeah, Metallica. I mean, this guy was very successful in what he was doing. And if you think about being a rock and roll star, and then boom, suddenly it's over overnight. What do you do with your life?
Yeah, so he was at the 9 to 5, hour and a half commute each way. He said it was like walking into a prison, closed his door. It was like closing the cell door.
Corporate America, yeah.
Corporate America, and I mean, especially one extreme to another. And then he decided, I'm going to get into e-commerce. And he tried it, dabbled a little, didn't work, but then he geeked out and obsessed for a year learning how to do e-commerce. He watched us last year, got more information, and freaking went out and just destroyed it. He's one of the top trainers on e-commerce. This is his thing. There's no more corporate America. He said that his, again, results vary and everybody's different, but this guy went all in, quit the job. He said, now my commute is 18 steps to the living room.
Instead of an hour and a half each way. Well, the best thing is he said, correct me if I'm wrong, is he said he has more enjoyment today than when he's traveling with a band. He thought that was the greatest part of his life. He thought the greatest part of his life was over, but he said, I never understood what it felt like to contribute, make a difference for so many other people, and he's doing it on his terms.
I know.
So, and he's not beating the hell out of his body.
So the reason we love Mastermind, speed of implementation, speed of impact, speed of success. And we don't think there's a better way and a faster way to take what you know and bring it to the world because they want it. And then I just wanted to go through this really quick because we surveyed the people that are in our community and said, what are the reason you almost didn't take action and make this a part of it? They said, I wasn't sure this could work in my niche. As a matter of fact, I asked my team to print this out. So if you think about this.
Tape it together.
Yeah, we had to tape it together. 4,700. You see this roll? This roll goes from here to the other side of our building, but it's everything you could possibly imagine that. And every niche possible, like we had Bell Carpenter. Bell teaches neuroplasticity. I can't say that word. Neuroplasticity. He said after 23 years of being in yoga and meditation, now he's competing with the big dogs. We had this woman, Jackie, teaches dog owners how to be better at training their dog. And this one, I love this one. Brittany helps artists.
This is hysterical.
She helps artists that need a breakthrough. Who thought these niches, right?
Well, but like people, to clarify, people that are stuck, people that say, I can't do it, whether they're writers or artists or painters, and in a stuck mode. Tell them her solution.
Yeah, so her solution was, she needed to, and this is combining two niches. Sometimes the way you find your confidence is combining two niches or do a niche within a niche. What she did is drawing and being an artist alongside of wolves.
Yeah.
She calls it painting with wolves or artists with wolves.
She literally brings the wolves in while you do the painting and shows you how to put yourself in a state by being around them where creativity flows. I mean, that is in a unique niche, and she's successful. It's crazy.
I don't know if you could see this, but this roll, I don't know. It just goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. These are 4,300 different niches.
More than we ever thought.
More than we ever thought possible.
And that's just out of the 25,000 people.
Just out of the 25,000. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing what's going on. So let's get to the last section. And this is the part that I think is most important, and we want to get to it. I know we're going a little long here, but we're really excited. So I hope you're sticking with us. We got some great things to share. Here's the thing. If I was you, I'd say, okay, I understand this industry. It's flourishing. I understand that I'd love to make impact. I'd love to transition, do something that's meaningful. I'd love to grow my success. I understand that, masterminds are the new way, faster, quicker. Technology made it so it can happen like that. I also understand that I could be the expert. I could turn my mess into a message. I could be the reporter. The last thing left is how do you find the people? Yeah. How do you get people? How do you market this? How do you market this? How do you get people to raise their hand and be a part of it? And that's why the world is shifting. That's why Tony and I decided to do this. That's why we're working so hard, because the world has gotten smaller. Instead of social media using you, you can use it. Yeah. Think about this. We're having a baby in about 3 weeks. My phone is filled with baby stuff. I don't even type in baby stuff. It just knows. Mr. Google, Mr. Facebook, Mr. YouTube, they're tracking everything. So like Tony said before, if you wanted to find pregnant moms who make $100,000 a year, like peanut butter and jelly, and do Pilates at night, there's countless of them all over the world because we can track them. And when you have the ability to use social media, when you identify what you're good at, and look for people that want that exact thing, you'll be blown away at the opportunity you have to target them and get them to be with you.
Yes, and whenever I train people in business, obviously, at this stage of my life, and I've taken some of the most multi-billion-dollar business help them grow, and somebody who's just beginning their business. I work on both extremes, and what you really need to know is the business is really two things. It's innovation and marketing. Those are big words. What does innovation mean? It doesn't mean you have the newest high-tech thing. Innovation means you find a better way to meet people's needs. You find something they need that no one else is delivering. Sometimes that's attention. Sometimes that's a better price. Sometimes that's an insight they don't have, or a strategy, or a tool. But then you have to be able to market it. And marketing today, what would you say, easy or hard? I know you can't yell back to me. I'm sure you'll type on the screen here. But which one do you think of this, easy or hard today? I would say it's easier to market. There's more, but it's harder to get people to pay attention, because where is advertising today? It's everywhere. It's on people's bums. It's on bananas. It's everywhere, right? But there's a way to step out from everybody else by becoming an expert. There's a way where people want to hear from you because you're not just selling them. You're adding value. You're giving them something of true value up front that makes them say, hey, tell me more. Enter my world. I want something of what you have.
That's the privilege we have in today's world with today's marketing. Is it's like everybody has black shirts on, and you understand the process that we're showing you and going to teach you more of is how to be the only person with a red shirt on. How do you stick out? And that's crafting an irresistible offer. That's using social media rather than it using you. When we were doing infomercials, it was casting a wide net. You hope someone walked by the TV and got your stuff. That doesn't happen anymore. We go right after exactly who wants what it is you have to offer. And here's the cool part. Because of this transition, because of the shift in media, because of this targeting, people like Shanika, could you pull that up real quick? Shanika, same story, and I'm gonna tell this one quick, and then I wanna get right to the next part, because this is the part that I can't wait for. Shanika was in corporate America. The rest of her family thought she was successful. She didn't, because she couldn't be there with her kids. She had 4 children, 1 on the way, long commute, similar kind of story to Carl. She ended up doing her own thing and got into real estate on her own, and in 1 year she did great. You know what she's doing now? She's empowering women in real estate on how to take ownership of their life, and she's doing great. And she did all of this through Facebook and word of mouth. She had over 100 women at her first event. Over 100 women. This is what she's doing full time right now, and I love it. And then I wanted to put Christopher in here, because with 7,000 people who showed up, he did all of it through existing followers, social media, and paid Facebook ads. This is somebody who's taken it to another level. Listen,
the next one, he said he's going to do 15,000 people.
15,000 people.
And listen, imagine that it took me 35 years to get to that.
Yeah, right? Exactly. You know? If you're a coach or a mentor, this is the way to exponentially grow it and really understand it. In fact, I want to go to the whiteboard 1 second and really clarify this.
Sure.
Follow me over here, guys. I don't want to oversimplify it, because everything takes work, but Tony and I love to talk about all this stuff, and I want to make sure this is really how it breaks down. It's the double, I used to call it the double triangle, is you either have a skill or an expertise like Dior, you either have a mess that turned into a message, that can turn into a message, or you're the reporter. right? This is one of the process. And then you share it with people once you have the confidence, and we're going to show you how to do that in a minute, either virtually or in person. And you're going to build a community or do a mastermind or a group, or you're going to do a workshop. And when you do these double triangle, that's what puts you in the knowledge industry and allows you to get in today's world. Most of this didn't exist just 10 years ago. And that's where we are. And that's why we're excited that you're still with us here today.
And so what we really want to do is have you be invited into our community. We want you to be able to learn and immerse yourself in these skills. Like Jim Rohn taught me, he said, Tony, work harder on yourself than you do your job. Keep finding ways to get specialized knowledge and skills that make you more valuable in the marketplace, and so you can do what you want. You can enjoy, you can have meaning and have impact. And the only reason people do something like this is they have a variety of concerns, like, oh, the economy is going to come down. Well, when the economy is in trouble, and by the way, we're in the longest bull market in history. That means one of the greatest economies in the history of the world. You wouldn't know that watching the news, but it's a fact. We're in the best economy. But it can't last forever. Of course we're going to go through winter. And winter doesn't last forever. It's like night. The day follows it. Winter's followed by, springtime. So we're going to have a tougher time. But during those tough times is when businesses like this grow, because people need answers. And if you can provide the answers, they respond. So I look at this as I've been in it 43 years. It's a winter-proof kind of business. During the worst times, we've continued to grow. So I want you to know, we're going to show you how to do those three things we talked about. We're going to show you how to create that bulletproof mindset that isn't BS. It's based on knowing what to do and being prepared and having the right plan. We're going to show you exactly the tactics and strategies that today work, so you don't have the trial and error learning, because you could spend 10 years of trial and error and go broke or waste all your time. We're going to cut through to what works that we've proven for 63 years between us. And then thirdly, we're going to give you the way to get that momentum so you get started right away and implement.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, we shared this before. You need the mindset. Who better than this guy on the planet for mindset? I'm just being honest, right? And the tactics and the strategies, people have been doing it. We've been doing it for 60 plus years. And then we're going to show you how to take massive action and implement. And that's why we're so excited. Because here's the thing, if you're still with us and you're someone that wants to do something different, you want to transition, you want to do something meaningful, you want the ability to enter into an industry, it's like a wave coming in. You want to be in front of the wave, right? There's nothing worse than missing a wave. And you watch the surfers and they try, and I don't think so, and then they miss it. If you want to get in front of that wave, then we're guessing that you're going to need help. You're going to need guidance. And if you know our values, if you know what we stand for, if you've watched us a little bit or a lot, we want to be the ones to show you how to get there. And we're so excited. We've been working the last 2 years on KBB 2.0, and we're so excited to reveal that to you right now, to be a part of this movement, be a part of this community. Can you pull up those slides? So KBB 2.0. So let's just get to it. The first module. So it's a 6-module training. The first module is basically this. It's Tony setting a bulletproof mindset. When you're done, you'll want to chew through a table. You'll want to break through a wall. No, I'm not kidding you. You know what's so funny? When we were filming those sections, and this is new from last year, we're buds, we're in the studio. I was on 20 pages of notes while he was doing this. When he looked up, I'm like, hey, what's up? Yeah. But this is the training that will get you ready to go and make sure this is the course and the training that takes you to where you want to go.
It'll take you from wanting to do this to doing it, from talking about it to taking action. When people talk about stuff, it's exciting. When they envision, it's exciting. When you plan it, it's possible. When you take action, it's real. And this will get you to take action. And that's why we start with it from the very beginning, so you really maximize.
Right. So now that's the first is the master. We said we needed the mindset. We agreed earlier. The second part of this, the second module, is where we start the strategy and tactics. In this first section, you're going to figure out how to unleash that superpower, how to identify what that skill, that passion, that hobby, that mess was. And then better is how to identify that ideal client so you can create that irresistible offer.
Yes.
And then I give you the story teach tool model that Tony's used so magically, I've used, to how to teach with confidence, whether that's a half-a-day Zoom call online or in person, and then you get your personal toolbox, and it's the perfect mastermind formula. So now you got the mindset, you know what you're good at, you know who wants it, and you know how to deliver it. And then in module 3, you're gonna learn the marketing, and this is where I go really deep. I'm gonna show you by the time you're done with this module, you're gonna love marketing on a whole nother level, because you're gonna realize, like we do, listen, if you're here right now and want another level of life, we did a great job by getting you here. We hope we're doing a great job right now to get you enrolled so you don't miss out on this opportunity, so you don't look back in 5 years and go, why didn't I listen to those guys? I'm gonna show you to love marketing as much as we do. This is our passion. We love marketing because we know if people go to our courses, come and get our events, get our training, their life changes forever. So this will give you the ability to learn my hook, story, close model that I think the whole internet talked about last year, how to have marketing stamina to make this work. And then this third,
and all this is tied to the software that actually guides you through it. So first we teach you the principles, and then we make it easy for you to click and actually create and follow through.
Yeah, so in Module 4, and I don't mean to go through this so quick, but I know it's late in somewhere as well, but Module 4 is so important because this is how do you get people, how do you get clients, how do you create a flow of customers from all different areas? And here's what we have. You have the ability to maximize Facebook, free and paid, how to dominate Instagram, how to grow and use YouTube, how to make more impact through affiliates. And here's the cool part. I took my team, and I think it's on the next page, I took my team who's an expert in each one and had them film mini courses. You probably see me all over YouTube. Maybe you're here because of YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. How do we take my team members who do this on a daily basis, and I had them create a mini course for each one of them. The Facebook course alone will absolutely blow your mind, whether it's free traffic or how to do paid advertising if you want to go to the next level. But here, we listen to you, and pull this slide up. We had so many people ask us about communities, about doing their own podcast, about speaking on stage, about getting your first 100 followers. So we went and got some of the top experts around the world, and we got Stu McLaren. He gets paid $35,000 a day to teach you how to build a community. He's one of the top community builders on the planet. He built a mini course for you on how to build a community. John Lee Dumas, he's one of the OGs of podcasts. He gets paid a lot of money to be for his consulting. He built a mini course on how to start and scale a podcast. Peter Vargas is going to teach you how to run online and in-person events. Rachel Miller, she is literally going viral on helping people get their first 100 followers. She created a mini course. It's included. This part alone is worth the price of the entire program. Module number 5 is this is how you get the confidence to actually teach. Are you going to do a 4-hour online course? Are you going to do a training live? Do you want to do it in person? This is the one that gives you the confidence. And how do you run an event without stress? How do you run events so white glove that people come back and refer you? How do you create it so a virtual assistant is basically taking you through each section? This is the part that'll give you the confidence to know you can do it.
And this is what I do best, right? My programs, I've built them over 43 years to give you an idea. I do them in 100 countries. I usually have between 6 and 8 languages being translated simultaneously, and I got to hold people, 12,000, 15,000. So my big seminar last year was 35,000 people. I got to hold people in the rafters in a stadium with 15,000 people. Full attention for 12 hours for 3, 4, 5 days in a row. And most people won't sit for a 3-hour movie, but I know exactly what to do. There's a system I use that keeps people so engaged that time disappears. I mean, how long is a long time? If you're hating what you're doing, a minute feels like forever, right? If you're loving what you're doing, hours go by and it feels like nothing. So I'm going to teach you, and I've never done this anywhere else in the world, exactly how I structure a program so you can use that exact model to make yours most effective from day one.
Yeah, so think about that. You have the mindset, and now you're gaining the tactics and the strategies from 2 guys that have been doing it for 60 plus years. And the last module is module number 6. Pull this up. This is if you don't feel you're the expert, but you said, oh my God, I want to do what you and Tony did. I want to do what other people, I want to be a part of this. What you did for Jim Rohn. It's being a knowledge consultant or being the reporter of other people's knowledge. And we got a great training in here from Russell Brunson and us showing you how to gain the confidence to do like the gentleman did with his mom, or do like the woman Jamie did when she became the reporter of how to cure eczema, and now she's turned that mess into a message, right? And this is the module that gives you the confidence to realize no matter where you are, if you want to transition, this is what you can do. Now, here's the cool part. When we got to pricing this, right? Tony, you have the platinum partnerships. The Plats are amazing. Every time I meet Plats, the first thing they say, I'm a Plat, right? I love them, and I love the impact you make. Too. That's $100,000 a year with a waiting list. I'm fortunate enough to make up to $200,000 for 90 minutes on stage. I just got offered to go to Dubai and speak with you, and that was the price they offered me to speak. I'm only sharing this as a reference because when we priced this,
how far you've grown from when you started, right?
Yeah, from Motor Millions. Yeah, I think I've grown a little. So the reason I'm sharing that is because when we went to price this, what could this be worth? I mean, for this time, this is the first time we condensed 60 years, decades into days. We obsessed over this course. So if we priced it at $5,000, it would be an insane value. Now, that's not what we're charging, but we just put a placeholder there. So now, this is the next part that's so important. So we have the mindset. Nobody better than this guy on the planet. I know we can all agree. I love that first module. Then you have the strategies and the tactics from somebody who's done it. But it's not just some course thrown together. We obsessed for 2 years. Listen, we're going to share this here in a moment. I want to share our graduation rate is off the charts, like nothing I've ever seen in my life, because we ethically pull you through the entire course.
That's right.
We get you and inspire you to keep going, because this is going to be the last course you ever have to. This is the last course you need, and it's going to be the course you finish and utilize. But here's the last part, the implementation. And we just spent the last 2 years at over $1 million and built the most incredible implementation tool that exists. We call it the Mindmint Software. If you pull that up, the first part of the software helps you build your agenda, whether that's a half a day, a full day, and it literally has an extraction process. So when you pull out what your skill is, you go, I am good at that. Here's how I do it. Here's how I lay it out. Here's how I would teach it. And you can literally,
and it's going to be based on the principles that we built both of our programs over, why they're so successful for 20 and 40 years.
This is what takes the fear away, because now you have on your phone or a computer, you know exactly what to do. The second part, though, the implementation, is the marketing. And this is where we want to take it to a whole nother level, because if you get fired up, oh, I'm ready, and you learn how to do it, a lot of times, like, where do I start? Yeah. Now you get fired up, you learn how to build your first website, you go put your website in play. And here's the cool part. Jenna Kutcher, our dear friend, is here, and she's going to be on really soon. Last year, she yelled at us. She said, your templates are too masculine.
Too masculine colored.
Too masculine color, not enough choices. We literally spent head down for an entire year, and now you have this is building your website, building your marketing, multiple pages. You have multiple templates. Literally, get excited, learn how to do it, put it in play, you're online. You have your own CRM. You can hook it up to the merchant account just like that. This allows you to make it in business, ready to go. We're so excited about this software. You're going to freak out when you see this. And the last part of the software is simply this. It helps you. It's the roadmap on how to run your event. This is some of the points in the back office. And I made this, we obsessed on making it simple. Because you know, you've had software you've had before. It's there, but you don't use it. This is the software you will use on a daily basis. Joshua Lee said a trained monkey could do a banana peeling mastermind after using Mindmint. So here's what we're doing. So now we have the Knowledge Broker Blueprint course. We have the bonus of 1 year. So what we're going to do is give you 1 year of the software. It's $97 a month. We're wiping that hole out. You get an entire year for free, $1,164. Here's the next piece. You always save about immersion and ongoing support. Yeah. You can go to a foreign country for a month, learn the language. If you don't do it every month, you fall back and you forget the language. Yeah. How many people took a language in high school? So here's what we're doing. Pull that up. When you get enrolled tonight, when you get enrolled today and you become a part of KBB, I'm going to train you right here in this studio once a month live. It's called My Inner Circle. And I go deep on the 3 things that I feel are needed for success: mindset, marketing, and momentum. Yep. It's the greatest family in the world, and I take my expertise every single month and share. You have access to all the old trainings. This bonus number 3, and I'd love it. Could you push this over for me? Bonus number 3, this is something you really got to hear right now. We are going to walk you through, I'm looking at Jenna, I robbed this from her, over the next 6 weeks, starting in like 10 days from now, every week for 6 weeks, we're going to walk you through each module.
That's right.
To make sure this is the course you finish. This is the life you want. This isn't another dream, another thought, another thing you thought about doing.
You can do this on your own completely, but if you want someone to be with you, hold your hand and be there with you. We'll be there with you actually as you're doing it. That's
Can you guys see this? Can you see this? This is literally the people who graduated. This, I had the team print out. These are people that graduated. I think we had the highest graduation rate of anything I've ever seen. And this was before we decided to do the 6-week walkthrough that starts, I think, March 11th on a Thursday. We start walking you through this course so you have the mindset, the tactics and strategy, and the momentum. On week 7, we're gonna do a celebration party, impact awards, and do a deep dive training of what's next. I don't think you've ever seen anything like this in your entire life to get you in the game. Again, Tony and I are busier than you could ever imagine. This is about impact. This is about legacy. This is about showing you the knowledge industry is here. The knowledge industry is here, and you can be a part of it. We never sold that before, so we put priceless. You also get to be a part of the community. You see there's 22,000 people in here. The results are coming in every day. I took it before then. I was pregnant. She had 15 women sign up into her high-level mastermind. This is just every day as they come in. You see the dates on here. First 20 minutes or first mastermind. Did my first seminar yesterday. Absolutely amazing. 45 people. This one, they were going to cancel a week before, but they still had 10 people show up and they rocked the world. And here's the thing, guys, this real value today, $7,328. We only do this once a year. We're only going to do the 6-week live training now. If tonight is the night that you decide that this is the beginning of a new era for you, for transitioning to go to another level, we'd love to have you enrolled with us. We'd love to make you a part of this. And here's the cool part. Below right now, or if you go to kbbcourse.com, you can get everything we share. The 6-module course, the 2.0 newer version, where you have the mindset and the tactics. 1 solid year of the software, which is your implementation tool. Working a year with me. The 6 weeks live training to walk you through, make sure you graduate. All of it today by clicking the link below and getting enrolled for $1,997 or a 4-payment option if that's what you need.
We want to make sure that anybody that wants to do this can do it. So 2 things. We want to make sure you have 0 risk whatsoever. If that's, you can mention our guarantee, but also for 4 payments of $597, anybody that really wants to learn these skills can build a business and be a part of what we're doing. And we'll do everything we can to help you to succeed. And all you got to bring to it is the desire and the hunger to make it happen. So we want to over deliver. And to give you an idea of, 1 weekend with me for Business Mastery is $10,000. And we had, 2,000 entrepreneurs that come from 100 countries. So we really try to make this something anybody can do. And we hope that this will be something you won't just think about, that you'll actually take action on and start momentum, because momentum comes when you do something. It's like when you finally make the call, when you finally do it, you create momentum. And momentum is the hardest thing in the world. You're going to try to get out of the Earth's atmosphere, it takes enormous energy. Once you get out, you can get out of the solar system with very little energy, like 1/100th the amount. Momentum is the secret to life. I'm sure you've seen basketball game where one team's winning, or football or basketball, and then all of a sudden somebody does something unique and the momentum changes. We want to make sure that out of today you create momentum, and that's why I've tried to give you as irresistible offer as we possibly can, and then over-deliver beyond anything you imagine.
Yeah, we wanted to make this so irresistible, because last year we only go live once a year. We only make this offer once a year. We're only doing the 6-week training once a year. Only once a year can you get a whole year of the software. Last year we had thousands of emails after this close saying, "Are you serious? Is this really gone?" And we just wanted to make this so irresistible that if you're ready for a transition, Einstein said the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. If you want a different result, then tonight might be the night that shifts everything. Of course, it comes with an unconditional money-back guarantee. And then last year, Tony decided to do this because he wanted to break through.
We did this afterwards.
Could you pull this up?
Mentioned last year, I go onto the Facebook side and I was interacting with people, and I was listening, and there were some people that were just not getting the momentum they needed. And so I spontaneously did something we've never done, and I'm going to do it this year up front. I have a program that I built over 25 years. It's called The Ultimate Edge. And literally, it's the most successful personal achievement program in history. Tens of millions of people all over the world in 125 countries have utilized it. It allows you to listen to just one little audio a day. Because think about this. We've talked about so much, it's overwhelming. But here's what you're going to do. If you're crazy like me, you're going to take a weekend and you're going to just do this shit day and night and day. You're going to immerse yourself in it and you're going to get started. If you're not as crazy as me, you're going to do this like once a day for 30 minutes. If you want to take it gently, you can say, I'm going to do one of these segments once every week. But this program, Ultimate Edge, is audio. You don't have to watch it. And so you can do it while you're, what I call net time, no extra time, while you're working out, while you're cleaning the house. And this is what's going to shift your psychology, your mindset, and get the results that you really want in your mind, your body, your emotions, and your finances. And so we're including this program for the first time, and we're making it digital. So it's available 24/7, 365 on your phone, ready to rock and roll.
Well, guys, listen. This is the
build-up. And then if this doesn't get you, we're going to give you Ginsu knives. That's what we're also going to do. I promise you. For $19.95.
What else? It just goes on. I was just looking at all. Listen, we wanted to make this irresistible, but here's the difference. There's a lot of things you can do, but to be in something that's meaningful, to learn from 2 people that have been in this for 60 years, if you're ready for the next level, we believe this is the greatest course. It's become a movement. Be a part of 24,000 people strong in 150 countries. Click the link below, get enrolled, or go to kbbcourse.com. Here's what we're going to do right now. While you're getting set up, we're going to play a quick 2-minute reel of people from around the world already using KBB. When you come back, we're going to take your questions, and we're going to bring on Miss Jenna Kutcher. I know so many of you ladies been waiting for Jenna. She's sitting here right now staring at me saying, come on, guys, you're going long. Hurry up. All right, click the link below. Get enrolled. We'll be back with Jenna.
And by the way, as soon as you get yourself enrolled, we're going to get you in our community. So you'll be popping the community and meeting thousands of people around the world that are doing this. So you won't be alone. It's pretty exciting.
All right, click below, kbbcourse.com. Watch this. We'll be right back.
I was completely overwhelmed with how to do the things that I most wanted to do.
Usually we met people with similar or same obstacles in life, and our experience can inspire them to be more courageous or to have more courage to overcome theirs.
I knew that 2019 was going to be the year that I was spending time on my family with my family.
This program is what I have been looking for.
This program is what I have been hunting for.
It gives you a starting point that takes you right through everything.
A knowledge broker is someone that knows that has something to share with the world.
A knowledge broker is somebody ready to serve.
You might be doing an online mastermind, you might be doing an online or in-person workshop, could be a virtual program, could be a 6-week, whatever it is. It gives you the tools to actually develop and then execute.
What you get is magical knowledge and opportunities for your next level.
So I knew this is something that I had to do. This is what I've been looking for a very, very long time.
You need to do this course because it can bring your message to the world. They've given you this ability.
It can push you forward to achieve your goals.
So even though I've just started with my small amount of clients, and it's a great start for me, I'm realizing I can help others who already have a community built, and I could not be more excited.
I mean, the Facebook group on its own is worth all of it.
I live in Southland, New Zealand.
I live in Israel.
And I live in Asia, Japan.
Here in Atlanta, Georgia.
I am from San Diego, California.
All working towards the common goal of making self-education the new norm.
They're supportive, they're motivational, they lift people up, they're incredibly generous with their knowledge.
It's so powerful. It's the best thing that happened to me for a long time.
Take initiative, take action, and live the life that you want to live.
Finally, a course that gets you in the game.
What's up?
We're back
with Miss Jenna Kutcher. I love how you said you were bringing your mom jeans.
They're on. I was like, I could wear yoga pants and no one would even have a clue.
But you got the mom jeans on. Listen, I'm going to go real fast and intro you because I love your perspective. I love the way Jenna and I have become dear friends over the last year. We call ourselves the odd couple. It's hysterical. We come from 2 different generations, 2 different worlds, but we have so many similar things. But Jenna is someone that I've just admired since the moment I met her. The way she speaks from her heart, the way she's transforming lives. She's in the knowledge industry, helping women all around the world take their lives to a whole nother level. Her podcast is on fire. Gold Digger is just magical. The only 2 men that ever been on it are us 2. Woo, woo. So I feel really privileged, but to watch her and hear her story of being in corporate America, being in an office with no windows or a cubicle, no windows, and just having the nerve to say the heck with it, buy a $300 camera. She got in the wedding business. She did so well serving people, just what Tony said, deliver value, go to another level. She served people sometimes at the bottom of the barrel that couldn't afford big weddings, and she delivered so much value. She worked all the way up until she started training other women on a whole nother level. Now she's got one of the most successful brands, making the most impact, an amazing mom, amazing wife. Love you to death. And
Please tell us how you started so they'll know, because they probably won't know. It's amazing.
Well, I think what's so amazing about what we heard tonight and really thinking about it is that I started as a student, and I think I am a lifelong learner, and all of us at the table are. And sometimes I'm like, Tony, how do you remember so many numbers? And who is Jim Rohn? I had to Google him. And I'm like, okay, so how does this actually look for us today? And as I was sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, do I deserve this seat at this table? What is my gift? And I'm thinking about all of these people watching who are like, do I have a superpower? And I told you the other day, like, I struggle with the word superpower because so often we think like it has to be this mind-blowing, remarkable gift, but so many of our gifts come through what life has taught us. And I think so much about my journey as working in corporate America, becoming a photographer, teaching myself everything I knew, then teaching marketing. Like, I didn't go to school for this, but life taught me that. And when we look at the way that we can use our gifts with the world, so often, especially for women, I hope I'm speaking for the women here, the things that life has taught us are not necessarily by choice, but out of necessity. Like when we went through our fertility struggle, I can't tell you how many hours I spent Googling things. And I'm not an expert at fertility, but I am now a go-to person when somebody struggles with a miscarriage because I sat up and researched and made changes and did the work. And so I think a lot of times when I hear superpower, I'm like, dang, people are going to be watching this and they're going to miss their chance because they're thinking, I'm just, I hate the word just, I'm just a mom, I'm just a photographer, I'm just a nanny, I'm just this. And it's like, we're not just anything. So I think that what's so beautiful about KBB because, you guys, I've taken this program twice. And the reason why these guys invited me on is because last year I was like, you didn't do the program justice. Like, too many stories. Like, tell us how this works. I want to know how it works. And so I just want to quick walk you through what I believe KBB is and the steps that it would take, whether you buy the program or not. Because honestly, the only difference between investing in the program and not is time and money. And guess what? You can always go out and earn more money, but you can't get back time. And I think I've learned so deeply how impactful time is. When I took the course the first time, I had a baby on my hip. I was like, I don't know if I can make it through. 30 minutes a day, just 30 minutes a day. It took me 30 days. That was it. And so I'm like, if I can do this, anyone. So let me walk you through my version of KBB.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, all right, here we go. So I think the first part is just understanding that you are the go-to person for something. Like, you have a gift, and maybe you haven't discovered it yet. And if you haven't, then this is gonna help you figure out and really feel powerful. Like, I've watched so many people come alive when they realize, wow, I'm awesome at figuring out how to implement, or I'm so good at giving people confidence, or I'm incredible at choosing outfits. Like, it can be simple or complex. So it's first just really discovering that gift and owning it. And women, when we step in our power, we are a force of nature, right, boys? Right? And so when you figure out what that superpower is, then the next step is extracting that knowledge. And I remember my mom is a college instructor. She's watching right now. And I remember the first time I said, I'm gonna teach. And she goes, do you know how to make a curriculum? And I said, I'm gonna figure it out. And what is so beautiful about KBB is that it shows you how to take what you know and to systemize it. Because a lot of times we don't know how we do the things we do. Like, we're so close to our own genius that we don't realize we have a system, we have steps, we have a method. And so we extract that knowledge in a way that will not just get you a result, but get other people a result. And that's like where the magic starts to happen. And then maybe you're thinking, okay, well, now I have it extracted, but who actually wants this? And I think so many people struggle believing that their offer is valuable. And let me tell you, people will pay to learn anything these days. I can't tell you how many courses I bought as a new mom. Sleep training, food weaning. Exactly. I mean, I'm like, teach me everything fast because I need to learn really quickly. And so it's putting it together and finding your people. And then the marketing part, and I love marketing. I could market all day and night. Marketing is my jam, and I learned so much inside of the marketing module. Like, I made my team watch it. I'm like, you guys, like, this is gold. And so then you have this offer that you can fill because you can market. And I think a lot of people get freaked out here because they're like, oh my gosh, 10,000 people in a stadium.
Yeah, Jessica asked who would listen to me.
Yes, and when you say these numbers, when you say these big numbers, I'm like panicking inward because I'm like, oh my gosh, if I could just sit in my living room with 10 women and like watch the transformation, that would change me too. And so I want people to know that when it comes to delivering, it doesn't matter. Like, when you have that message and now you have the system to make that result, it doesn't matter if you're going on Facebook Live. It doesn't matter if you're doing one-on-one phone calls to get your feet wet and to build that confidence. It doesn't matter if you're speaking on stages in stadiums. Like, that impact is this ripple effect. And I have to commend you guys both because I've taken so many online courses. One of the biggest gifts that you have given us is these tools. And they're tools that you don't covet. And I think this is huge because a lot of times educators have egos and they're like, okay, anyone that buys this gets this tool, but no one else. Don't tell anyone else my method. And what I love about you guys is, like, I believe I can just picture you guys saying, like, go make disciples of all nations in a sense, because you're saying take these tools and share them with the world. And that is why this has made the impact it has. And so when you guys explain the course, I'm like, it honestly simplifies just everything. And I've taken this course twice. And so the most beautiful part about these online courses is I took it a year ago and I retook it. Same content, and now there's new additions which are like mind-blowing, but my results were so different because I had grown as a person because of the content. And so when I did these exercises, I had grown and changed and we evolved. Yes. And so what's so beautiful about this process, and I tell you this all the time, is right now you're selling what people think they want, but you are hands down giving them what they need.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Oh, I could talk about this all day.
Tell them so they know where you started. Tell them the story about buying your first camera so they get a sense how far you come and where you are today.
Yeah, and I think when we think about that, it's like, again, like, who am I? Who am I to do this? And it's like, who are you not to? I was in a corporate job, hated my life. I thought I had made it, and I hated it. I bought a camera on Craigslist, and this will be a good point. Bought a camera on Craigslist, $300, started a photography business, made a goal to get out of my corporate nightmare. I did it in a year, but here's the but, and this is really good for you to listen to. Within 3 years, I had scaled to $100,000, and I don't say that out of pride. I say that because I was miserable. So often, we put these huge numbers and values on our life of these goals, and we reach them, and it's empty, right? And I realized that I had built this system that wasn't scalable. I want to ask you something right now. If you're watching this, is what you're currently doing, is it able to impact more people without you working harder? Are you able to earn more income without you physically showing up every single day? Because I realized that if I didn't show up for a wedding, I wouldn't pay my mortgage. Yeah. And so a lot of times we build these magnificent things and we get to the top of the ladder that we created and we're unhappy. And I have found, and you know this too, impact is like the number one happiness meter. Like, sure. I have never been more happy than when I see somebody transform. And that's why we're in this business of transformation, not inspiration. And so I think what is so important about decisions, because we all have them, is whether you're listening and you're not sure, you can do this system. We just shared it. Find your superpower, figure out your offer, extract your knowledge, market it, and then make it scalable. Great, awesome. But if you do not value your time enough to do what they say, which is turn decades into days, then you are going to be on Google University for the next 8 months of your life just trying to piecemeal a plan together. And so I'm so passionate about this education system because time is everything. Time is life. Time is our currency. So, and
you can go online because it's the Wild West online. Yeah. You get a million answers to your questions, most of which don't actually work.
Yes, they're not a system.
It's like, everything I learned from Jim Rohn was success leaves clues. If someone is truly successful at anything consistently for years or decades, they're not lucky. Yes. They're doing something different than you. It's not that they're gifted. They're just doing something different than you. Figure out what they're doing. Do the same thing. You get the same result. But you got to model someone who is actually successful. Because it's like going to a doctor that's ill all the time and saying, "Get me well," or going to a financial broker that doesn't make any money and saying, "Manage my wealth." Yes. You got to go to somebody who's done it. And so you've done it. We've done it. And all this is proven. It's not something that we're hoping is going to work out or we've come up with. Yeah. It's got decades of proof.
Listen, you know what I love too, Jenna, is you come on here and describe what we've worked 2 years to create. Sometimes it's hard to describe it in simple way because we worked so hard putting everything in. Yes. But just know, and I'd love to even ask you this, can you tell? I know you can tell because you've been through it twice, but we work so hard to take something complex and make it a process that seems simple. And I don't mean so there's nothing easy in life, but the reason we have that stack of graduates, the reason there's 120 comments a month, the reason we had a stack of 1,100 wins is because this is the course you'll finish. This is the course you go through, and this is the course you utilize and take action. Yeah. And I know we had a lot of questions come in, but especially because Jeremy grabbed all the women comments because you're going to be here. But how do I get over the fear of finally starting?
So I was talking about this the other day, and I believe I had this moment. I was feeding my baby. It was 4 a.m, and I'm already self-sabotaging. How many of you self-sabotage? It's like we are in this business of life to prove ourselves wrong. And I got on Facebook Live the next day and I said, sometimes we want to let ourselves down to say we're not worthy of the things that we're dreaming because it would be so much easier to just go through life and coast, right? Yep. And so I was realizing, I'm like, I am already self-sabotaging before this day even begins. So how can we, as women, as men, as humans, how can we make a promise to ourselves that we finally keep? And what I think is so incredible about all of this is when we think about making this leap of faith, there's a part of us that's like, am I really going to do it? Is this really the time?
Absolutely.
And the way that the support is set up, whether you're walking through, I walked my people through it. And now we have the implementation help with these men. Like, if you have a community of people and this excitement and this movement and this momentum, maybe today is the time that you actually make a promise to yourself that you are committed to finally keep.
And, you know, and it's also, it's 30 minutes a day kind of thing. I'm a crazy person. I'll go to something in 4 days, all day and night of immersion, and some of you are like me. But really, you just chunk it down and say, I'm going to take 30 minutes a day to develop a new profession, to develop a new business, to develop a new skill set so that I can take my life. I mean, you talk about going to 100,000. I don't know, can you share it? I think you've shared it, how much you grew to, and then you've multiplied again. You went from 100,000 working your tail off to your own business. But to what, 7 figures, correct?
Oh, yeah. But to me, it's so funny because we were all in Fiji together, and everyone was talking about these numbers, and I was doodling. I think it might be in this notebook. And I wrote the words, I want to feel peace and freedom. And to me, it was like, okay, like money is wonderful. Money is great. It's this currency, but time for me.
The most valuable thing you got.
Yes, and especially as a mom, I'm like, if I can create something that can serve people while getting me back my time. So when I went through the course, I was literally like, we bought a Bose speaker that we hooked up in our shower, and I was like, this is the 20 minutes I'm getting today. Or when I'm putting on my makeup, I'm on Facebook Live talking to my students. And I think that what was so amazing is like people are watching somebody actually have to commit to doing this. And that it's not easy, but it's possible. It's like we want to see the possibility painted 100%. So I can close my eyes and hear you guys in my ears if I'm walking the cul-de-sacs in Hawaii, taking a few extra laps to learn all of this.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I said this earlier, but the next 5 years is going to go by anyway.
Yes.
And the next 5 years, you could be sitting and wondering what to do, or you can decide to take action, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're currently a professional and working for someone else, or you have a side business, or you have your own business, we're still going to hit obstacles. We're still going to have to figure it out. How cool would it be to have a blueprint to help you be involved in something that's growing? Something, it's not Blockbuster, it's Netflix, right? It's what's next. And, you know, it's not taxi cabs, it's Uber. This is an industry that's growing. We all want to do something impactful and meaningful. And we have a couple of guys that have been doing this for 60 years to show you how to do it. And we obsessed on making sure it had those 3 pieces, the mindset, the tactics that work, and then how to implement.
I gotta share one thing.
Yeah, let me hear it.
The one reason why I think for a lot of women, I mean, we did the research last year and it was the majority of women here. And I just want to speak to the ladies for 1 second. We do not need help with the head and the heart stuff. Like this intuition and this heart and this passion, like we've got that down pat. And the more that we listen to that, the more beautiful our gifts are shared with the world. But when we can get the strategies and the systems so that we can use our heads and our hearts to their full potential,
God, I love it.
That
Preach
is when
it.
the magic happens. And so it's so funny to me because people always say, why do you have male mentors? And I'm like, I want the systems. These guys have decades of experience on me. Give me the systems so that my head and my heart can come alive and just implement.
It's really beautiful.
That's what we need. And that's what that's why I'm so passionate about this. Oh!
Jenna, I'm so glad to have you here, and I'm so glad that you've been such a voice for this and watching. Listen, last year over 54% of the people who got enrolled were women. You see the Facebook group is on fire. You women are lighting it up. You are leading the charge, inspiring the men to keep up. So we're gonna get a little break here, and we're not a break, and we're gonna have Russell Brunson come on here in a minute. And I know we're going long here, but it's so important because listen, this is one of those moments where, you know, if this is not taking food off the table, if this is not going to put you in a compromising position, it's one of those things where you go, oh, you know, this sounds great, and I got to hear from Tony and Dean, oh my God, Jenna lit me up. Maybe next week, maybe next year. And when's the last time you put something off and a year went by?
Why not wait from your perspective?
Yes.
Why not wait?
Yeah, I was gonna say why, and the last thing I'd ask is why would you say why do it now?
Yeah. I mean, I look at the last year of my life and I could have made every excuse in the book. I have a baby at home. I've waited 3 years to have this baby. I have a business. I have all these things going on. And I could look at my corporate days and say the same thing. I'm working 50 hours a week. I'm exhausted. But here's the thing is time is not promised. And if we truly, truly want to die at the end of our days and say, I used everything I got, I went out there and I made a difference. If we truly want to end our days with people saying, wow, that mattered, you mattered, you were happy, you came alive, and you inspired me to come alive, dang. So I look at how fast a year can go with my little baby. Oh my gosh, she grew so fast before my eyes, and I think about the legacy that I want to leave and the way that I want her to watch her mother going through life. I want her to grab the bull by the horns, and so that's what we have to do. The way that we sacrifice ourselves and put everyone's needs ahead of us to say, I hope they're happy, I hope they're happy, I hope you're happy. And maybe the decision to be happy is finally saying, I'm worth it.
Wow. All right, I got to give it up for you. That was amazing.
Got you, boys.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Thank you, Jenna.
Thank
you so much
Thank
for being
you for
here.
having me.
Listen, if you're ready for that next level, if you're ready to be a part of this community, if you could be in the Facebook group in moments from right now and see what it's like to be a part of this family, feel connected and finally not feel alone, get your answers, you get your questions answered, feel a part of something that's growing, a part of a movement, then click the link below or go to kbbcourse.com. Get enrolled tonight. This is something we do once a year. That's it. For you to get the 12 months free, all the bonuses, the 6 weeks walking through the course to make sure you graduate. This is it. This is now. You come back in 2 weeks, this offer won't be here. So click the link below or go to kbbcourse.com. We're going to play a 2-minute quick video of people from around the world, and then we're going to bring back Mr. Russell Brunson. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Eddie.
Not too long ago, I was wondering what was my next step.
I was searching for something new because I wasn't fulfilled in my current job.
Before KBB, I really didn't think that I could take nearly 2 decades of experience and be able to take that and integrate that and teach it to people at the same time. Have a business, grow a business.
And I had all this knowledge that I felt blessed with and I was gifted with, but I didn't know how to get it out there.
Everybody has a reason to be on the planet, some value to give, and sometimes we just have a hard time understanding what that is, and KBB will help you identify that.
A simple step-by-step process on how to extract the skill that I already had and showed me how to attract, market, and share it with people who already.
It is pulling all the information that I've wanted to share for years out of my brain and putting it into a format that I can use.
After I found KBB, I didn't just find my drive, I found purpose.
I now know and believe in myself enough to go out there and be a positive voice for change and to have my impact on the world.
The clarity and the confidence that has arisen from this is just, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced.
I wish I had this when I started.
KBB was really there as the catalyst to get me out from behind my computer and really get out there and go bigger, go global.
It's been less than 2 months. I've completed their course. I've launched my business. I'm having my first workshop next weekend.
Within 30 minutes after getting into the program and through the course, I'd set up my first training program, and it was so easy.
I'm already hearing back from my community of just the breakthroughs that they're having as a result of it.
I have caused a huge amount of impact, and it's affected other people around me, and there's no better feeling.
Suddenly I had the foundation to move forward with my life, something I'd always wanted.
The thing that you're looking for, it's here.
We are living in an information age. Self-education will soon be the new norm.
Look at this, by magic of video, Russell Brunson.
Hi, brother.
How's it going, man?
Good to see you.
You too, good to see you.
Good to have you back. Look at 2 years in a row.
I know, thanks for inviting me back. I'm so happy to be here. It's so great.
For those of you who don't know Russell's been a dear friend for, I think we've known each other for 12 years since we were both at a charity event.
Yep.
We met, I think it's over a decade. Russell started the company called ClickFunnels, one of the fastest growing, what would you say, what's the definition of your company besides a world changer? Like he made being online and marketing and building web pages, I'm using simple terminology, the easiest on the planet, one of the fastest growing SaaS and development companies that's not backed by other capital, just by bootstrapping, built one of the most amazing companies on the planet.
And started with no business background really, right? Was a wrestler and a dedicated human being and was just wanted to help people. I mean, that's really your driving force, it still is. You come across so humble and you're so skilled. And we met, you came to one of my seminars about 12 years ago as well, you know? We've got to meet each other. So we've known each other over that time and I've just watched you grow geometrically. And you know, in the online business, like any place else, there are industries where there are people that are extraordinary and there's a lot of people that are so-so and some that are crooks. And unfortunately, there's a lot of crooks. You are so the opposite. You operate with such integrity and such commitment to add value to other people. I'm just like, we're privileged to have you as a dear friend and thank you for coming on.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That was amazing. Well, I'm excited because like I told told Dean this before. Like, I got started in this business watching him on infomercials with a pad of paper, taking notes. Like, this is amazing. And then Tony, the first time I heard about Tony, I went on eBay and bought every one of your courses. Literally every one of them. And then my wife and I listened to the car, driving everywhere. And the first time I had a chance to meet, it was like one of the most amazing moments of my life. So I'm just grateful to be sitting here in the room with you guys, which is so much fun.
So you were back there watching us. Sometimes there's so much information to share, you can complicate it.
Yeah.
And I was hoping you could come in and say, what are the parts that we can cut through the chase and show people how they can get started on this path?
For sure. I think for everyone that's watching, you're listening to this, and there's a reason why you showed up here today, right? There's 460,000 people registered. So there's a reason. Everybody was hearing a message and they showed up to be here. And I think then it comes a time where, like, hey, if you like what you're learning, there's the opportunity to go and take the next step. And people get scared all the time. And I've kind of found in my time doing this online, there's usually 3 main reasons why people don't get started. And the first one is that they're scared of the vehicle, like the thing, right?
Yeah.
So for this whole opportunity, that's all about, like, it's you taking your knowledge and turning it into these amazing things. And I'm not going to spend too much time on that because I think, right there's the stack of 1,000, 1,100 wins in the last 12 months. You've seen this is how I've built my companies. Tony's done it, Dean's done it, Jen has done it. Like it's not like it's like a new weird thing, right? Like, it's there, it's happening. And I think that for most people, I think they believe that, like, okay, this is actually a legitimate, it's a real thing, it's a way that I can serve and I can change people's lives. But then the second one, this is what I want to spend the most time in, is people's internal fear of, like, okay, I believe that this is really, really good, but I don't know if I can actually do it. And so I want to spend a little time talking about that. And some of my notes I was writing back here, and I think I'm a big believer in this. I'm guessing these guys believe the same thing, but I really do believe that business is a calling.
Yes.
It's a calling, and you've been called to serve a group of people. And for any of you guys who are here today, my guess is you heard that calling, and it's like this tug and it's this pull. And in the New Testament, it talks about many are called, but few are chosen. Like, we get the calling. Everyone has the chance. You have these opportunities where you're called, and you feel this pressure pulling you into something. You're not sure what to do, and you're nervous, and you're scared, and all these things happen. And most people just walk away from it. They feel the tug. And then, like, this is there's too much fear or scaredness or whatever that is. And so again, my guess is you felt that calling, and you've been called to serve. And there's a group of people that you can change, you can literally change their life, which is like the most amazing, I think, gift that most of us can have in this life. And I have a close friend, Ryan Moran, and he had a quote that he told me the other day that I thought it was the coolest thing. He said, "An entrepreneur is someone who takes personal responsibility for a problem that is not their own." You think about that. Most of the world, there's a problem coming, like, oh, that's not mine. They're running away. Yeah. Whereas entrepreneurs are like, I think I could fix that. I think maybe I'm the one that's supposed to be doing that. And it's the opposite of what the rest of the world is doing. And so you've heard that, you felt that calling, and it's like, man, maybe that's me. And I look at these 1,100 people, and how many, 400,000 niches?
Yeah,
like
4,000.
Yeah. There's more than 1,100. Those are just the ones we printed out. We ran it as paper.
It's amazing. So 4,000 niches means there's 4,000 problems out there that are being solved. There's an entrepreneur, there's a person like you who's hearing that and like, maybe that's my thing. Maybe I'm the one that's supposed to, my first business was teaching people to make potato guns. So I was the guy like that was my first thing. Like, and I don't know if you remember,
I do remember, you sent me one.
The first time I met Tony, I was like, how do you impress a guy who's got everything? So I sent him
potato gun.
I sent him a potato gun.
He shoots far though.
It's so fun. But that was the thing is that's like our roles. We hear the calling, and then we're the ones who say, look, man, like that's a challenge, that's an opportunity. I'm going to take personal responsibility. I'm going to be the person who does this, who helps this. Dean, when he started this business, it was like, I'm going to be the one who helps people to bring knowledge out. When Tony started his, it's like, I'm going to be the person who's going to take this thing. And I think that's the thing. And now, what's interesting, I think, for most of us is the calling, when you hear it, when you feel it, that feeling, it's never at a convenient time, ever.
And you don't feel prepared when you go for it either.
Never prepared. Yeah. It's the scariest thing in the world.
Work your courage muscle.
It's the scariest thing in the world. And I was looking through, just as I was listening to everyone, I was thinking about some of the people that I've had a chance to be around who have a big impact on me. I've seen them have big impacts on different industries and different markets. And there are a couple of stories that really spoke to me that I want to kind of share with you guys. One of them is from one of my friends, Chris Wark. And Chris, he runs a site called chrisbeatcancer.com. And Chris is like a perfect example. He's a guy who's like living a normal life, everything's happening, and then he comes down with cancer, which is, God, I can't even imagine that, and the fear and all the things that happened with that. And he went through the process, and he figured out ways, and eventually was able to cure himself of cancer. And in this time, it's like he feels this calling of like, I need to help other people, but it's like, man, like I just got my life back. Like there's so many things I could be doing, but like that calling, that feeling of just like, I've got to help people, I have to give back, I have to serve. Like, I've been given so much in my life, I need to help other people. And I've seen as he's transformed now thousands of people's lives because of this challenge he got, which became such a gift.
His mess became his message. We talked about, right?
Yeah.
Huge mess, but it became something can help everybody with.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's such a cool thing. Another one is Annie Grace is one of my favorite people. Annie actually had a problem with alcohol addiction, and she was a businesswoman. She was traveling all around the world, and she got to the point where she was doing these meetings with people, and they, everyone went out and they had a drink, and eventually she woke up one day and realized, like, I have a problem. I need to stop this thing, and she didn't know how to stop it. And she tried a whole bunch of different things to try to overcome that, and none of the traditional routes or things really worked. And so she sat down and said, I have to figure out, like, how does our mind actually work? What causes addictions, and what is the thing that's making it so I can't break this addiction? No matter how much I try all the different programs that are out there. And throughout time, she figured out the psychological effects and how to shift and how to break it, how to reverse it. And she's gone on and written books, she does events, she does courses teaching people how to break the chains of alcohol addiction, which also relates to pretty much any addiction. Yeah. And I've watched her where she had this thing that was like the worst time, like you just recovered from this problem you had, and all of a sudden you feel this calling of like, you need to help people. Like, why am I qualified? Like, I have the problem. Like, I'm the least qualified person in the world.
That's actually what makes you the most qualified.
Yeah,
actually when you can solve it, right?
100%.
Because it's not intellectual, it's real results. That's the difference between that traditional education and what this is really all about.
Yeah. And I've had a chance to see now with her, just like looking at her community of these people's lives that she changed, families she saved, like all these things because she's going out there. And like I said, I know. I assume everyone's felt that. I'm sure all you guys listening have felt that call and that pull of just like, God, I need help. Alex Sharfin calls it the contribution gap. Like, I know I need to be doing more. I don't know what it is. I'm scared. I'm fearful. But it's like, it's being willing to take that step, being the entrepreneur saying, I'm going to take personal responsibility for that problem. I'm going to take it and make it my own. And so that's kind of the first step in this process. One question that we got on the questions I was reading through here is like, well, who's gonna listen to me? Like, I'm just a person, right? Yeah. And I don't know, I always kind of laugh because like, when I go back home tonight, I'm gonna go back to my family and I'm just a person. But like, here I am, right? But we're all that way. And I think that a lot of times we're scared of like, I don't know if I'm not qualified yet, or maybe when I get to this certain point, then I'll be ready. And like, we have this, we call it the mañana principle. It's like, oh, tomorrow, mañana, I'll be ready. We keep pushing it off till forever. It never actually happens. And there's a movie, Catch Me If You Can. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah, of course.
And there's also a book, and in the book version, it's a little bit longer than the movie. It's the story of a guy he's a con artist, so it's not the best role model, but
it's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie.
I met the guy; he's a real guy.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, it's a true story.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, in the book, he tells this story where he actually, between all the different things he did, he was an airline pilot, he was a doctor, he did all these different crazy things. And one thing, he went to Brigham Young University and actually became a sociology professor. He just walked in one day, there's no teacher, he grabs the book and gets up there and teaches an entire semester of advanced sociology. And later, when the feds catch him for all these crazy things he's done, they ask him, like, how did you teach a semester of advanced sociology to these people? And it's like, oh, it was easy. I just got the book and read one chapter ahead. I think what's interesting is like, it's so true for all of us. It's like, we're thinking like, when I'm Tony Robbins, then I'm gonna go serve the people, I'm gonna help people. And it's like, no, like, you can help people today. Like, you look back, like, who am I one chapter ahead? Who am I one or two steps ahead of that I can look back and start helping? Like, if I would have waited to share my message about, and I teach people how to build companies with sales funnels. If I would have waited until I was ready, I never would have been ready. In fact, talking about this whole concept of if the calling is never convenient. Like, I remember when I started this company, it was like, I'd built up a company, it had collapsed, I'd fired 80 people, I was at the brink of like bankruptcy. I literally met with the bankruptcy lawyer, we were talking through all the things, and all of a sudden, like, I felt the calling. And I was like, what? And it was like, you need to start talking about the story. I'm like, I don't want to tell this. This is a horrible story. I don't want to tell it. And for me, I started sharing it, and I started a podcast. I started talking about it, I started talking about this journey I was going on. And it was painful and it was embarrassing. And at first, it's kind of interesting because when you first start talking, I think a lot of times we're nervous because it's like, oh, people are going to make fun of us. But at the beginning, no one's actually listening to you. And so it doesn't really matter. Like, the beginning, that's the chance for you to like find your voice and learn how to actually do it. And so it's not about the other people at the first. It's about you learning your voice and how to do the thing and getting a chapter ahead of the time. And after you get a chapter ahead, you can look back and start helping people. So I'm in the middle of the brink of bankruptcy, and I'm like, I feel the calling, like, start publishing, start doing a podcast, start doing whatever. I start sharing these messages, and I started figuring out my stuff, and really quick, all these people started kind of following me, and like, oh my gosh, Russell's a couple steps ahead, and I could look back and then start helping them as well. I think that's a big thing to understand. And then the last thing, internal, I think that, I don't think anyone's, I don't want anyone to think like this business is, it's gonna be so easy, we get rich overnight. Like, that's not what this is. This is a career, this is a lifestyle, this is a mission, this is something that should be driven from beyond that. And I think a lot of times we're like, okay, I'm gonna sign up for KBB tonight, and then next week I'm gonna make $50,000. Like, that's not how this works. That's not the game. That's right. The game is you come out here and you're building a business, you're building a career. This is a lifestyle. This is something more than any of those other things. And I was reading a blog post the other day from one of my friends, Nathan Barry, and the blog post was called Endure Long Enough to Get Noticed. And in this blog post he said, how many movies or TV shows did you not hear about till season 3 or 4 or 5? You know, how many?
Seinfeld was a total failure. Nobody was going to do it, right?
Yeah.
One of the greatest of all time.
Exactly, and I think what happens is right now there's so much content, so many people, so many things happening, so much noise happening that us as humans, we wait to see what's going to stick around long enough to actually rise to the top. And so for a lot of us, it's understanding that going into this, like this isn't going to be an overnight thing. This is something I'm getting into. This is going to be a business, but like I'm going to start the process. I'm going to get a chapter ahead, and then a second chapter. I'm going to be learning this. And as you keep doing that, that's the process. And if you endure long enough, like you start today, and in a month now, then 2 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, you're going to be in that big old stack of paper. And in 2 years from now, you're going to be up here on stage, you're going to take Jenna's seat, and you'll be telling your story. But it's all about enduring long enough to get noticed. Keep doing the thing, keep doing the thing. And so I hope that helps you guys, those who are thinking like, I don't know if I can do it. You can ask my friends in high school and my family members and stuff like that. In fact, I served in a mission for my church, and we had the guy who's kind of the lead of the mission is called the mission president. And he came to our last event we did, and he said, man, of all the people that I worked with 20 years ago, he's like, you are the least likely that I would have ever thought was the person. And it doesn't have to do with your skills now, it has to do with you just talking and sharing, and the more you do it, the better you get and the more comfortable. So again, the first big fear is like people are scared of the vehicle. Like, I don't know if this is for me. Okay, I promise you this works. It's worked for so many people. Number 2 is, can I do it? And the answer is yes, you can do it. And then the third fear people have is like the external fear of like, well, I believe that this is right. I believe I could do it, but I just don't know how to do it. Like, that's the whole point. You shouldn't know how to do it. That's why we have KBB for you, so you can go and you can figure it out. Like, that's the best part.
Save yourself years and years. I also, what you said earlier is really true. I want to say to people, I always tell people, most people overestimate what they'll do in a year and underestimate what they're going to do in a decade. Absolutely. Like, look at what's happened to you, and I've known you this last decade. Yeah. The growth has been insane. But, I always overestimated, but because I kept doing it, endured, it just grows and grows. And when you get multiple decades on you, you'll be in a place you never dreamed of. So that may sound too far out for people that want an instant answer, but you do have an instant answer. You have the answer what to do now. So you start with like I did, 7 people, and then you go to your 20 and your 50 and your 100, and pretty soon you've built something that you're unbelievably proud of because it's meaningful and it's impactful, and you've been able to take care of your family and have the kind of economic freedom that you want. And you're a perfect example of that, Russell. Thank you for that. And also a perfect example of what integrity is. You have tremendous integrity. You're always looking to add more value. It's same as us. I think it's why you've prospered so much, brother.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, you write books on this. You help people uncover. And you know what? Jenna was right. Like, we call it unpackaging your superpower, exposing your superpower. And it sounds so big, but when you look at people helping parents with eczema or through a divorce, or the examples you gave here, you realize your mess could be your message, or just that thing that you didn't realize that took you 5 years to figure out. There's somebody starting on day 1 and they need it. So before, only because I know we're getting late here and I want to give everybody the opportunity, but I don't want to leave without any last words or any last thoughts.
Yes, I have one last. In fact, it's a quote. So I'm gonna quote someone much greater than me, if that's okay, because this is like one of my favorite quotes of all time, and hopefully this will ring true to you. So this is from Sir Winston Churchill. He said, "To each there comes in their lifetime a special moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered the chance to do a very special thing unique to them and fitted to their talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared or unqualified for that which could have been their finest hour."
Wow, that's
so for everyone listening, like, again, business is a calling. You have been called to serve a group of people. You have been called to change their lives, and you felt that's why you're here. That's why you're still on 2 hours into this thing, because you're feeling it, and you're like, this is for you, but you're scared and you're nervous and all those things, and it's okay. You should be scared. Like, do you think I'm not scared coming out here like I'm like shaking in my boots right now? It's okay. You still got to show up and just do the thing. That's right. Because there are people out there who are waiting for you to change their lives, and you can't do it until you take that first step. Because the chance is going to come where you could have changed someone's life, and if you're not prepared, what a tragedy that'd be for you. But more importantly, even bigger, what a tragedy it is for them. So take advantage, move forward, because you have the ability to change someone's life, and the tools you're going to learn in this process will help you to be able to do that. So thanks for having me, you guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Amazing. Good to have you here, brother. You want to sit here? I want want to we had so many questions that you put up here, Jeremy, on the course itself. I know we're 2 hours in, but let me go through it one more time. And if there's anything that I don't say clear enough, you guys please jump in. But I want to give you one more chance because this is a once a year opportunity. Once a year we go live. Once a year you get an opportunity to get in KBB at this price with all the bonuses, with 12 months of the software and all the great additions that we put in. So let me go through the course. Let's pull up this. Pull up the slide here, Mike. So I'm going to go through the modules really quick and just tell you, at the end of the first module, you're going to have a bulletproof mindset. I don't know any other way to say it. It's what you gave me that gift 25 years ago. You got the gift from Tony when you bought all those products off of eBay. You should have bought them direct. You didn't get any money off of eBay.
I've given money since then.
Like a man focuses on wholesale.
We said we needed those 3 components, right? If we're ready for another level, you need the mindset, the strategy and tactics from someone who's done it, and you need the implementation. This is the mindset that'll carry you through to make this the course you finish and implement. In Module 2, really, when you're done with this module, you will have the confidence to know what you're going to share. Like Jenna said, you're going to know what you're going to, what calling you have.
And you may not know who that calling is yet, right?
Yep.
But you may just say, I want to do something that's meaningful. But when you go through this, you're going to discover what that can be for you. And then you'll start to take action because you'll unleash your passion. Like, it's hard until you can figure out what that is. Or you're going to figure out who's somebody who has that I can be passionate about sharing their message or their insights. And there's so many niches, as you've learned.
Yeah, and plus identifying who your ideal client is and why they need you and how you could serve them. Module 3, that's when, by the time you're done, you're going to love marketing. This is, I think, this is a module I went really heavy in. I think it's the greatest marketing training I've ever had. You said it's some of the best marketing training you've ever seen in your life because it takes you from the top all the way down to the tactical. Understand how to love marketing, how to serve people, and that's the only way you could change your life. Like you being here tonight, the only way we could change your life is if you get enrolled tonight and take, we've shared some here, but it's not the 16 hours of training that we condensed from learning over the last 60 plus years.
And all marketing is getting people to want to do business with you. It's to raise their hand. It's to say, okay, tell me more. That's really all marketing is. And it can be done so easily in the world we live in today. And we built the system to show you how.
And it's so much fun. It's my favorite part. Too.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't sleep at night. I'm like, what else? How was
I know. We have the best conversations about it. You'll learn the hook, story, close model on how you can sell without feeling like you're selling, the application process and crafting your message and emails. That's what you'll have at the end. On Module 4 is how do you get the clients to come to you? The different areas. We call it wagon wheel marketing. It's like how do you use YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and email and word of mouth? Instead of it using you for all these years, it's time to turn it around. And what we did is took my experts in my office and each one filmed a mini course on how do you build up social media? How do you build up Instagram? How do you use Facebook? How do you pay for ads? How do you take it from the beginner all the way through, if you're already in business, how do you scale like we've been blessed to be able to do? And one step further, we got some great outside experts to teach you how to build your community from one of the best community builders on the planet, Stu McLaren. He gets $35,000 for a day. We paid for one of his days consulting. He's unbelievable. John Lee Dumas will teach you how to start or scale a podcast. Pete Vargas about stages. Rachel Miller will help you get your first 100 raving fans. These are incredible experts. You have instant access to all of that. Module 5, this is how you run your events. This is how you create stress-free events that people love so much that they recommend you, they love you, they cherish you, and you have the confidence to do it with 0 exceptions. And this course will bring you through whether that's a half a day online or a full day at your office or 2 full days at a hotel, each step. And the last module is really how to be the reporter of other people's expertise or work with an expert who already has a following. This is for those people who think they don't have an expertise. I would beg to differ, but this is a section that people went crazy, and you added a great section to that.
And that's how I started.
And that's how you started.
I started with Jim Rohn the exact same way, and then I became the expert over time, right?
Yeah, I mean, you teach something long enough and you digest it and you get more feedback, you become the expert. And like we said, Tony's got his group, I have my group. The value is off the charts. If we put $5,000 on this course, it would be still a great deal. But this is where the rubber meets the road. This is your implementation tool, and this is why tonight is so special. We are revealing the 2.0 tonight. We took the software to a whole nother level. We legitimately paid, documented by our accountants, over $1 million so far to build the software. You know a little something about
Software's
that.
expensive.
So once you have the mindset and all the tactics, this is your implementation tool. Get excited, learn it, put it in play. This is why we have a stack of 1,100 people. This is why we have all the graduates. This is why there's 100 and something thousand comments every month in the Facebook group, because people are getting the results they desire. They're finishing, they're implementing. The first part is the wisdom extractor. Second part is how do you market and use our tool to put it in play. We have templates, we have websites, we have more feminine ones this year because of Jenna, but multiple. This isn't just building one site anymore. This software went to a whole nother level. How do you run your CRM? How do you manage it in the simplest way? Because I need simple in my life. The last part is how do you run it? It's literally your virtual assistant to confidently help you run it all through the software. And that is $1,164 if you paid for the year. It's $97 a year, only tonight. $97 a month, $1,164 a year. This is the only time, once a year, where you can get the entire year for free. That's why we're pushing this. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're ethically edging you to take action now, because FOMO is real. I didn't know what FOMO was till my daughter told me. Fear of missing out. Then the immersion. You have the immersion of the course. We want to make sure you stay on track, so you get 12 months of training with me live every month. It's my inner circle, teaching you mindset, marketing, and momentum to make sure you stay on track. This family, the inner circle family, is incredible. It's mostly KBB members. You get instant access to the old trainings, and we're doing our next training in a couple weeks. Then we wanted to do something that we robbed from Jen. Just so you know, that inner circle training sells for $1,164 for a year. It's included tonight. We want to do 6 weeks live. Again, we robbed that from Jenna. She did so good last year, walking her girls through to make sure they got through each module. They answered the questions that they were having, and make sure there was no time getting stuck. And remember, if it's a half hour a day, that's how Jenna got through this. If that's what you need to do, that's what you have to do to move forward, right? So we'll walk you through. On week 7, we're going to have a celebration party and help take you to the next level. That's included, and that training starts April 23rd. If you wait, you don't get involved in that training, and it is going to be magical. The last piece is you're a part of the group. You're a part of the Facebook group. You'll be a part of that community tonight. They'll welcome you with open arms, and this is where you feel plugged into something bigger than yourself. The community, post after post after post, you're going to be blown away on what's going on here. And here's the cool part. That adds up to over $7,000 in real value. Tonight, our once-a-year training, you can get enrolled by clicking the link below or go to kbbcourse.com for 4 payments of $597. There were some questions. The payments are every 30 days. Another question, you get instant access to the course. The next thing is you have an unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee. If this isn't everything we say, if we don't over-deliver at the highest level, just call us. We'll take care of it.
You go the whole course in less than 30 days if you're like me. You'd immerse yourself and send it back for free. You say, I want my money back. And over the years in various programs, I've seen people do that. And then later on, they get so transformed. They have the intention. And I intend to give it back, but I can't give it back. Because what you got to understand is this is something you can do in immersion, like over a weekend, and then go back. You own this course. You can do this thing, or you can do it for 30 minutes a day. And over a few months, you're going to find yourself in a position where you actually have a business you're excited about and it's meaningful and impactful. So don't let yourself get overwhelmed. We're giving you so much, but here's what it really is. 30 minutes a day. We've got handhold people to help coach you over the next year. We've got the next 6 weeks that if you want to do it with us instead of on your own, you can actually do it with us and still have it on your own. And guess what? With all this put together and the software, you'll be able to implement this and move forward. So you just got to decide, do I really want a new direction for my life? Because our whole lives are shaped by decisions. I mean, you can think about it, the last 10 years of your life, 5, 10, 15 years, I'm sure there's 1 or 2 decisions you've made that if you look back, you'd say, my whole life would be different if I made a different decision there. Maybe worse, maybe better. I would submit to you that this is a decision that we know from all 3 of our experience to be able to enter into a business that's literally, Forbes says it's growing to $1 billion a day over the next 5 years. It's that fast growth where you could get in at whatever level with 10 people you want to coach and work with in a mastermind, with 50, with 100, with any niche you want. But what you got to do is the one thing, which is Get over your fear or your concern or your stress. You have no way you can lose, money back guarantee. And right now, enroll yourself, join our community, and begin the process of building something you're going to be proud of that can produce freedom for you, time freedom, money freedom, but most importantly, a meaningful life where you feel that sense of calling that all three of us do too. So we've gone way over the time. We're really grateful you stayed with us. What last moments to say?
Yeah, just last moments is we're also including the Ultimate Edge. I don't want to get too, but that program alone, that's the program that changed my life. So that's the program you get immediate access to. Again, $7,500 is real value. And I think the last thing is we said, just reminding you, mindset, tactics, and strategies, and implementation. That's why this course is so successful. That's why it's become a movement. And you guys can get enrolled tonight for that special price and all the bonuses. What's some last words?
I think the last words I would think about is a lot of times we worry about ourselves when we make a decision like this, like, oh, how is it going to affect me and things like that. And I would challenge you to flip it around the other way and be like, who are the people I've been called to serve? Like, how will me taking this step change their lives?
Or your family.
Yeah, your family, the people around. Like, it's interesting, like, when you shift away from, like, how am I going to make money to, like, how can I serve people? The money will come. It just, it does. But, like, that, I can't tell you, like, I've had a lot of big wins in my life, and it's like, oh, it's really fun. But, like, when you get to have a chance to help someone else have that impact and you see them win, there's nothing better than that in the world, and you'll have a chance to experience that. Some of you for the first time in your lives, and when you have a chance to do that, and you see someone else, the light bulb go off, the life change, and you're like, oh my gosh, I was a little piece in that journey. There's no better feeling than that in the whole world. So I hope you guys can all experience that as you go through this program and change lives of the people you've been called to serve.
So if you stuck around all this time and join us in this community, thank you for being with us. Thank you for your time and your energy. Thank you for your trust. And hopefully we've stimulated you tonight to make some decisions that move you in a new direction for your life. And if so, we'll be seeing you on the internet. We'll be talking to you in our community here on our Facebook community and be seeing some of the stories and hearing some of the stories of how you changed your life. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, we went a half hour, 45 minutes longer than we wanted. We had so much to share. It's been a privilege and a pleasure having so many of you take action and be here, and we can't wait to see you in the community.
Live strong, live with passion. God bless.